right, here we go. The 2025 NBA trade deadline is here, 3 hours away from the deadline passing, and we are here to cover every move that's already happened, plus anything that happens today. Harrison Graham, Patrick Siepman with you live here on Chat Sports. Seeps, it's been an explosive 5 days, I would say, starting with the Luka Doncic trade. We'll get into that here in a few minutes, but it does kind of feel like the big moves have already come and gone unless there's some last-minute Kevin Durant splash.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the last couple of days has been crazy in the NFL or NBA world. It's almost overshadowed the Super Bowl a little bit this week. But, I mean, there could possibly be some big moves today. Like, you got guys like Nikola Vucevic. You never know if a guy like Zion, we could get a late report there that he could get traded. But, yeah, it does definitely seem like a lot of the big moves have already happened here. So, we'll see.
Who knows? Maybe we'll get a Zion is now 300 pounds to top the Luka reporting, and he'll get shipped out. Shout out your city. Let us know where you guys are tuning in from. We got Jeremy in Myrtle Beach. What's that, Jack? We about to... All right, Patrick Siepman welcoming in the Bulls Now audience as well. Bulls Now, Bulls Report.
Bulls Report. Welcome in. Nikola Vucevic watched today for Bulls fans. That's probably the biggest storyline here. Also got guys like Trey Jones, Kevin Herter, Zach Collins that could be dealt as well. But main squeeze here for the Bulls side of things is
what would you like for the Bulls to get done today?
Trade Vooch for a second. I think that would be ideal for me. You're clearly starting a rebuild here in Chicago. Get any draft capital you can to start this rebuild, and also I want to see younger guys get more minutes, get more shots per game. And when you remove Vooch, it takes up a lot of volume offensively. It will help young guys like Buzelis, Julian Phillips, Dalen Terry, all these young cats hopefully develop here.
All right, we'll continue. We'll work in some Bulls talk as we are simulcasting live on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel as well. We got Kill in the Philippines. We love the Philippines here at Chat Sports. Yeah, Wasim in Irvine, California. Chelsea, small town in Missouri. I respect that, Chelsea. You're not even going to, mention the town name because no one's going to know it. Just
small town guy.
Understand your lane. Understand your lane. Trucker in Atlanta, Jan in Florida. We got Jesse in Charlotte, Gavin in Dallas. We got Mark up in Canada. Let's see, Ontario for Morgan as well. Brew Crew in Milwaukee, Jan in Florida. So continue to shout out your city. Let us know where you guys are tuning in from. All right, we're going to set the over-under, or the more or less, I should say. Shout out to Prize Picks at 9.5 trades today. Are we counting? Have 2 happened today? You had the Davion Mitchell.
There's Trace on McAfee right there.
Trace is on PM. Take a picture. I'm taking a picture of that right now.
Oh, we got a little behind the scenes here of Chat Sports. Trace Gerard in the background right now. That's hilarious.
That is electric.
Yeah, but more or less 9.5 trades today. I think I'm actually going to take the more. I feel like a lot of people will be saying less because of already the big-time moves that have already happened, but we will get a lot of just kind of on-the-margin moves, like for the Bulls side of things, like a Trey Jones, Kevin Herter, Zach Collins. They could be traded for, a second-round pick or whatever it may be. So if you count the trade that already happened, what if we had one? Is
that the first one today?
I think that was the first one. Okay. So Davion Mitchell. So we're at 1 right now. I'm going to hope for some chaos today. Speaking into existence, I'll go more here.
All right. M for more, L for less. Let us know where you guys fall on that one. Ty Man, our most loyal viewer of Chat Sports, thinks it's going to be more than 9.5 trades. Do have a super chat coming in from Jameer. We can work that in real quick, and then we'll tell you guys about a couple of sponsors in a second as well. John says less. Jan Rivera says more. John says, how about them Spurs daddies? Spurs going to be fun to watch. Yeah. How about Fox's debut? 13 assists.
13 assists debut with a new team. I think the Spurs could make a little more noise than people are thinking right away year one.
I do too.
If hypothetically, I think end of the year, Wemby will be a top 6-ish player in the league. He's probably already top 10. Fox,
top 25
player. 25 guy. You got a good culture. I like guys like Vassell, Sohan. So I think they could definitely make a move here.
See that dunk from Castle last night?
The windmill off two.
He just elevated with 2 hands on that one.
Yes.
That was nasty. Jameer kicking us off with super chats today. Been a minute. Appreciate you coming back to us. What y'all feel about Ingram to Toronto, and does Zion get traded? I don't really get the Ingram move.
Makes no sense to me.
To me, you look at the trade here. He's clearly the best player from this in this trade, but
The Raptors.
Is he even a number 2 on a contender? Like, I feel like he's like a 3. I don't think he's like a. I'm not saying their play styles are the same, but he's like a poor man's Harden, where like he's gonna put up numbers and he can score, but I don't really know if that like turns into winning.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Right now, the Raptors are 16-35. You make a move like this if you're trying to get you
win.
over the hump here. I don't get it from Toronto's perspective, considering you're also giving up a first-round pick. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but watch out for Bruce Brown to potentially be bought out, so he could be a big pickup. If we're going to connect this back to the Luka trade and the Lakers, if they get their hands on Bruce Brown, that would be an unbelievable move for Rob Pelinka, who I think biggest winner of the deadline, undisputed between Harry and I, probably the Lake Show, Rob Pelinka.
Yeah, and I've got thoughts. Don't you worry on that.
We'll dive into that.
We'll dive into that coming up in just a moment. But first, I want to shout out a couple of sponsors here for our trade deadline special. Game Time, they've been with us for a couple of years now. If you're looking to get tickets to go watch Luka and the Lakers, still crazy to say, or any of your favorite teams, your favorite musicians, concerts, comedy shows, no ticketing service is going to help you out better than Game Time. Their feature Game Time picks will help filter out the thousands of tickets available for most of these events, kind of narrow down your search, make it easy for you to find tickets within your price range. So whether you are going to an arena, to a concert venue, or to a comedy show, whatever it is, get your tickets with Game Time. What you need to do is download the app today. Use promo code CHATSPORTS when you create that account to get $20 off your first purchase only. Terms to apply. Go check out Game Time right now. We are also sponsored by Prize Picks. The big game is just around the corner, and if you want to get in on all of the action and make some money along the way, it's a perfect way to talk trash with your buddies. Get in on Prize Picks, prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS for if you're a new customer when you sign up. You're going to get $50 bonus when you play for just $5. Set your first lineup 2 or more players, as long as they are players on 2 or more different teams, regardless of sport. That is eligible for a lineup, and you got a freebie. I like 2-player lineups because they're easier to hit. You're already halfway home with this one. Patrick Mahomes, half a passing yard. You pair that with something else you like. Boom, you win. Even if you lose, if you're a new customer, you're going to get that $50 for free if you play for just $5. So check out Prize Picks today. Available in more than 30 states, 10 million customers and counting. You should be one of them. If they're in your state, get started with Prize Picks right now. Link to that is in the live chat of this stream. Okay. Wasim Khan. Wasim, you changed your Twitter, or not your Twitter, your YouTube like avatar or whatever you call it. He says Chicago needs Ryan Digg to sell the team.
I love that.
The ownership in Chicago leaves a lot to be desired across the board.
Yeah, White Sox break a record, right, for the most losses in a
The
MLB.
Bears finally decided to spend some money. We'll see if that pans out.
Yeah, Chicago sports all-time down bad right now. Blackhawks are a joke. Cubs, we'll see what they do this season. But White Sox are a joke. Bears probably going to turn it around here. Bulls, it's going to be a nice long rebuild for all the Bulls fans. But Chet also on the Bulls side of things saying, nice to see Harrison with you, Pat. Good duo. I was hyping up the crossover episode.
Early Bulls report days, we kind of did some. We did a couple videos.
Yeah.
So
I would love to do more on the Bulls side of things. As we're starting this rebuild, as Harry also might be a free agent in terms of his fandom.
Yeah, listen. Most of you guys know I am a Mavs fan, or I was as of Saturday night. I'm kind of just pausing fandom for the rest of this season. I'll revisit it in the off season. People don't believe me. I'll just bring this to the table here. I have told the office, the bullpen as we call it, since the Luka trade, and we'll talk the trade in a second. No one believes me. The Dallas Mavericks could make the finals. I will not watch a second. It will not happen. They don't believe me. They're questioning my whole thinking on this. It's just, look, I'm not going to do it this year. Maybe in the future, but that's where I sit. Let's just talk about the trade because to me this is still the biggest news of this deadline because no one could have seen this coming. And look, the NBA, there's always stunners. Like Durant getting traded to Phoenix in the middle of the night a couple years ago, the Kawhi, Paul George to the Clippers. Like these things happen, but no one saw this one coming.
Jalen Hood-Schifino going to the Jazz. How could you have seen that one?
Who could have seen that one? A couple second-round picks on the move.
Yeah, serious note, though. I mean,
mind-blowing.
This was insane. Did not see this one coming. My biggest gripe with the Mavs and how they approach this is how do you not make this in like a bid? Like, how do you not have other teams give you offers? Like, I get you wanted Anthony Davis clearly, But what if you presented this to the Heat? You could have got a guy like Bam. I mean, I would have just been very curious to see what other offers were out there.
Yeah, let's talk the Mavs angle first. Then we'll get to the Lakers because they're clear they're clear winners. Yeah, Jeff Cooperstein made this team card, so or this graphic, so they take that for what it's worth. There's a lot of I don't understand this, and the obvious one is just like you don't trade Luka at 25, but let's say you're willing to do so, which clearly they were. To your point, it needs to be an open bidding war for Luka Doncic. I think. I mean, I don't want to overstate, but like, I think the Thunder would have considered some pretty big packages.
I bet you they would have considered throwing you Chet.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone but Shea would have been available, and they probably wouldn't have done it. But like, I bet that would have at least been a conversation in their building around Shea. They probably wouldn't have done it, but I think that would have been a discussion. I think the Spurs would have given you everything. Except for Wemby, literally everything. I think the Rockets would have given you a haul. I think 20 to 25 teams would have given you a strong offer.
And even like a lot of these bad teams, like I could see the Hornets just being like, hey, we'll throw you LaMelo every pick, every young guy we have.
Dude, if you're Portland, you're like, oh my God, we'll sell 10 million jerseys in a month.
Yes.
We'll give you literally everything we have.
There's a lot of like irrelevant teams in the NBA. How do you make your team relevant? You get a top 5 player in your building, right?
Even if you give up so much that you wouldn't win the first year, like, it's like the business alone. I think that's the biggest stunner to me in this siege.
I agree.
Look, the on-court stuff, to me, it's crazy.
Yes.
Is Kyrie and AD in a short-term duo with the role players? Like, is that a solid? Yeah, like I think they could be competitive in the next couple of years. But to me, you punted on a 10 to 12-year window with Luka, a guy who didn't want to go anywhere for like this 2 to 3 year run that probably will not result in the title. So, but that aside.
Like, even if Nico Harrison thought like short term, obviously he does. Anthony Davis gives me a better chance to win over the next 2 years over Luka. The one thing I don't get is he talks about durability and he talks about like obviously the defensive side of the court. You can't make an argument. AD, one of the best defenders in the league. But last Western Conference Finals, he went toe-to-toe with Anthony Edwards, playing the most minutes in the league last season.
Beat his ass.
Kicked his ass all up and down the court.
Ant just said so yesterday.
And Ant was saying in that conference finals, he was gassed. And Luka cooked him. So just a shocker here, man.
I've run out of words to describe it because you were in the finals last year. Like, it'd be one thing, like the year before, they didn't make the playoffs. They traded for Kyrie. That team flamed out. The roster was just bad. Then you make all these moves to build around Luka.
Yep.
You make the finals, and you just run into a buzzsaw in Boston. Yeah, Luka didn't have a great series. No one wants to talk about how Kyrie was horrendous in the finals.
Oh, he was terrible.
By the way, let's just leave that out, Nico Harrison. And then 8 months later, you don't even see it through for one more playoff run. Like, if you went through this playoff run and flamed out, this trade would be available in the offseason. Now, it would still be insane to do, but like...
But also, you could have locked him up, signed him to the Supermax, and then the team trading for him would guarantee Luka on their books for the next 5 seasons. You could have... I mean, your haul would have been massive. I do have one question for you, Harry. How much credit do you give Rob Pelinka for this? Is this PJ could have made the move?
He gets credit for apparently working Nico down to get even less back, which has been reported. That's
crazy.
all. I saw a tweet last night. So the Lakers' second trade to get Mark Williams, where they traded Connect and another unprotected first, that also should have gone to the Mavs, and it still wouldn't have been enough.
Yes.
But like, at least you'd be like, well, you are getting a good amount back. Apparently, he worked down Nico from 2 to 1 first, and he didn't have to give up Connect.
Yeah.
It's just like every angle you look at this, you got worked. It really just speak to Nico wanted Luka gone. Like, it's that simple, and I don't understand it. I'm not going to pretend to know what goes on behind the scenes. I know every teammate that has spoken has said he's nothing but a hard worker and a great teammate.
And it also drives me crazy. If Luka, let's just say he had some playoff runs where he's fizzled out. This dude's one of the best playoff performers in NBA history.
He's the second highest scoring player in playoff history among qualified players, which I think is 30 games or more, behind Michael Jordan. Shout out to Bulls Report viewers.
Yeah.
What are we talking about here? Like, this guy, and everybody's like, oh, well, the conditioning. Bro, when he's a top 5 player when he's out of shape. Like the hit pieces on this have been insane. And I do want to get back to the business part of it one more time. I really think this will cost the Mavericks over time hundreds of millions of dollars. And that's what shocks me the most. Like, at the end of the day, these teams are businesses for these owners. Like, the Lakers, who are already the most valuable franchise in the NBA, just increase their value some over the next decade plus, assuming Luka stays there. The Mavs just became irrelevant.
Listen, I'm going to say it. After the Mark Williams deal, I am picking the Lakers to win the championship. I think
if he fits in there, they're going to be really tough to beat, man.
Health concerns, no doubt about it with Mark Williams. But if he is healthy for this entire run, your 5-man is DFS, Reeves, Luka, Bron, Mark Williams. That's all 6'6" and up. You have a big lineup. You can 3 guys who are great at creating with the ball in their hands. And also LeBron, he is going to be a great off-ball player next to Luka. I know a lot of people are concerned about how they'll fit. I think LeBron's one of the best cutters in the NBA. Just a freight train coming down the track still. I think it's going to work out.
Luka and Kyrie learned to play off ball with each other the last 18 months. So even Luka he's learned how to do that the last year and a half. So is this the most insane Mavs trade ever? The answer is yes. I think it's the most insane trade, period.
Honestly, this might be the most insane trade since, I don't know, I wasn't around for the Herschel Walker deal. In all of sports, this is up there, though. Like, we will talk about this trade for the next 10, 20 years when we're saying, like, oh, do you remember when, this team, or when the Mavs traded Luka, when we're talking about future trade ideas?
This is how you know it's the most insane trade of all time, at least in the social media world. The whole fucking world thought Shams got hacked.
Yes, that's the best.
He said himself he thought his own phone was hacked.
Yeah.
That's how you know it's insane.
It's crazy, man. I will say, good for the NBA, though. Like, viewership-wise, not good for Harrison Graham and all the Mavs fans out there. But if you wanted to get more juice around the NBA, I mean, everybody's talking about the NBA during Super Bowl week.
Oh, I mean, for the NBA, it's huge. For Mavericks fans like myself,
nothing but pain.
I mean, they lost 1 million followers on Instagram. Think about that number. 1 million followers, the Mavericks Instagram account.
Crazy.
Absolutely incredible.
We do have a super chat coming in on the Bulls side of things here. Trade Rolly for $5. Shout out to you, man. Saying rumors is the reason Luka got traded was for weight issues and the GM wife flirts with Luka. I have not heard the GM
I don't know about
wife
that
flirts
one.
with Luka.
Well, they've tried to completely hit piece Luka on the way out.
Yeah.
Out of shape. By the way, he looks pretty good to me.
I don't know if he got on Ozempic right when he landed in LA, but he looks like he lost probably 20 pounds.
He looks ready to go.
If he was reportedly at 270, which I think
he looks like he's about 240. By the way, he plays kind of heavy, which is to his advantage. You can't stop him.
You can't. And that was remember everybody was talking about Jaden McDaniels, him versus Luka.
Oh my God, that was an embarrassing matchup.
Yeah, he was just too thin. He got his ass handed to him last Western Conference Finals. Still can't wrap my mind around this. It still feels fake to me, if I'm being honest.
Oh,
Tell you what, I can't wait to watch the Lakers now this season. I mean, they're going to be a fun watch.
Look, the Lakers side of this, which we'll continue to hit throughout the show. I mean, even if Luka and LeBron don't win a title together, dude, you have your next star. Like, you didn't have access to one, and one just fell into your lap.
This is a house money year for the Lakers. Like, if you win it, you win it. But now you have a young core of Mark Williams, Austin Reeves, and Luka.
And by the way, Williams, Reeves, like, those are tradable pieces. Like, if you need a second star post LeBron, you're going to be able to get one very easily.
Yeah. Jameer coming in with a $5 super chat saying no moves for Orlando. So this does connect back to the Bulls side of things here. We heard talks about Kobe White potentially being dealt to the Orlando Magic. They've had conversations around that trade. Quick Bulls side of things, I'm not giving up Kobe unless you get not saying like a Godfather offer here, but it's got to be an offer where it's like
at least
the Bulls won the deal. That's the only way I'm really giving up Kobe White on this.
I do understand the interest from Orlando because 100%. We saw it last year in the playoffs. Like, they're a very good defensive team, but they go stretches where they just can't score. Like, they're so Paolo dependent.
Yes, and I love the backcourt idea of Jalen Suggs, defensive-minded guard, Kobe White, offensive-minded guard. Yeah, I like the little 1-2 there.
Yeah, I don't like – I sent it put it in Slack. I don't love teams that their two primary scorers, neither's a guard. Like Wagner and Banchero, it just – It leads to clunky stretches, which 100%. I think we saw in that Cavs series last year. Like, obviously they can bring the ball up the court, but like I like having a ball handling guard that can generate offense.
And I'm pretty sure the Magic, the worst 3-point shooting team in the league. So adding a guy like Kobe White, who's been around a 40% 3-point guy, I think it makes a lot of sense for Orlando. But both side of things, you just can't give up Kobe unless you're getting at least a first-round pick, if not more.
Would you rather trade him or Io if you're the Bulls?
I'd rather Bulls fans will get upset with me. I'd rather trade Kobe over Io.
You'd get more back for Kobe.
You would get more back. They're both on very good deals. I'm just a big believer in Io. I think he could be a really good two-way guard here in the future.
All right, we do have a Super Chat menu. All Super Chats get on the show. If you send in $5 and mention the team that you're representing, we'll talk about your favorite team. We've got notes on all 30 NBA teams. $10, we'll crack open some Happy Dads here. $20, we'll spin the roulette wheel. Sometimes we have to do something. Sometimes you have to do something. $50, we'll have a little fun. Do a little beer bong race here. So if you guys want to support, we appreciate it. Obviously, free ways to support. Hit the like button, subscribe. We're here every single day here on Chat Sports, NFL, NBA coverage, college football during the college football season. So we got you guys covered. Speaking of likes, if you want your favorite team to make a trade, hit that like button. We got almost 500 people watching, only 56 likes. It's like 12%. Let's get those numbers up. What's it looking like on the Bulls chat right now?
Bulls fans, we need them to have a trade be made desperately today, and we have over 200 people watching, only 29 likes. So let's at least get to 50 likes here because we need to speak this Vooch trade into existence. And speaking of a trade, we got one. The Milwaukee Bucks are sending Patrick Baldwin Jr. to the San Antonio Spurs. So that's the latest deal. Pretty sure Patrick Baldwin, was he at Milwaukee, I think?
He's bounced around a couple times, I feel like, early on in his
college.
Career. Yeah, University of Milwaukee.
Yeah, University. I actually liked him coming out. Yeah, Shams had that one.
He was a huge recruit. Is he from there? Is that why he went there? It was weird when he went to Milwaukee. He was like a 4 or a 5-star.
Yeah, only getting about 4 minutes a night this year for the Bucks, so not a lot of run. But hey, Spurs, I will believe every move they make. I will believe in it. They're just a really well-run team. So.
I mean, I feel like all this stuff is like, is he back yet? He's been back. Is he not back?
I am not sure. I'm going to lean no. Spurs last night had a big win against the Atlanta Hawks. De'Aaron Fox looked amazing.
Oh, he is not returned, so his return is uncertain. But if he does get healthy and return, I mean, how rejuvenated is this guy going to be?
Oh, my God.
Like, I know he's up there in age, but, like, you have Wemby and Fox. Like, you might have another title in you.
Potentially have the best player of all time.
Crazy.
Bulls fans, be prepared for the LeBron-MJ debates to spark back up if LeBron gets another one.
Oh,
I can already see it.
Well, Jordan's always the GOAT. Jordan's always the GOAT.
Vladimir on the Bulls side of things saying, 2 of my favorite players are on the Kings. Love my Bulls. Got to watch some Kings game now. I don't know if you watched the Kings last night. Had their full starting 5 out there. Got beat by 20 at home against Orlando Magic. LaVine was terrible. DeMar was terrible. I think it was the right move for Chicago. Just rip the Band-Aid off. And plus, we saw the Bulls beat the Heat 2 nights ago. I think it's huge that they got the protections off that pick because it would be a doomsday scenario if you somehow had the 11th pick in the draft and that pick conveyed to the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah, let's talk about the Fox trade, Jack, if we can get that one up. Why are the Kings trying to be the 2021 Bulls?
You think about it. International center, Vooch and Sabonis. 4th overall pick, Patrick Williams, Keegan Murray. LaVine and DeRozan, obviously.
Just 3 years older.
Yeah, 3 years older. Then Malik Monk, lead guard, with just like Lonzo. And then you also had, I saw somebody tweet out, it's like Devin Carter, bald defensive guard with Caruso.
Think about this. The Kings drafted Tyrese Halliburton when they had De'Aaron Fox, which led to the inevitable you're going to have to pick one.
Yeah.
They have somehow managed to get rid of both of them.
I didn't even think about that.
That is insane to me. And I know there's differing opinions on both players. Like, I don't think either's a 1 on a title team. And, I think you could debate if either's really a 2. I think Fox can be a 2 with Wemby because he's just going to be that good. But it's kind of crazy that they had 2 of the best young point guards in the league and somehow managed to lose them both. I mean, 2 years ago when they took the Warriors to 7, or 2-3 years ago, whatever that was, we were like, this is like the next fun. They looked like the Warriors. Like the high-paced, like, 125 points per game. And they have just completely gone in the tank since then.
And also, like, all NBA fans, you'll see, the Kings received 3 first-round picks. The Hornets pick is lottery protected, turns into a second. So that's a fake first-round pick. I'm assuming the Spurs 2027 pick will probably be 25 to 30. And then the Timberwolves, like, if they keep Ant, they're not going to be in the lottery anytime soon. So it's like,
it's also 6 years away. It's like
6 years away. I just don't get this move.
I don't think Sacramento. Again, like, how do you manage being like you're the next like up and coming like team in a conference to like you're just back to where you've been our whole lives, other than a couple years in the early 2000s, completely irrelevant.
They will trade Sabonis next deadline.
Yes.
I can guarantee that.
And they'll get like 2 seconds. Or like a heavily protected first.
They're in a tough spot, man, because like they're just a tease for their fans right now. They're just the new Bulls.
They fire their coaches every 2 years. It's just a disaster. This is the trade that just came in. Patrick Baldwin to the Spurs. Not really sure what Milwaukee's getting back. Probably some deep second-round pick or something like that. So
you could also connect this back to the Kuzma, Chris Middleton trade here. Kind of talk about where Milwaukee.
Yeah, that's a good point because Milwaukee is in an interesting spot. Remember early in the year they were looking terrible. I'll give Doc Rivers credit. They've kind of righted the ship a little bit here. Giannis is having another big year. Dame's playing better. It was time to get rid of Chris Middleton. They never should have re-signed him, to be completely honest. But now you get Kuzma, who wasn't having a great year, but like I don't know how you judge any individual players in Washington where they're literally just playing YMCA pickup.
Yeah, it's AAU hoops.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know if Kuzma's a true 3 in a big 3 title type of team, but he can play multiple positions. He can defend multiple spots. When he's playing well, he spaces the floor. It'll be interesting to see if Milwaukee can challenge the Knicks and a couple of the other top teams in the Eastern, Boston in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, I think the Knicks and the Celtics are a terrible matchup for Milwaukee, but I will say right now they're the 5 seed. They would have the first-round matchup against the Indiana Pacers. I would assume the Bucks handle that, and then if they get the 5-1 matchup versus Cleveland, that's a pretty good path for Milwaukee to get back to the Eastern Conference Finals. I think the Cavs are a tough matchup the Bucks are a tough matchup for Cleveland. So we'll see how they handle this. Maybe they make another move today, but we'll see. I think you made a good point, though. Kuzma does give them lineup versatility, where you could run a small 5 with Giannis at the 5, Kuz at the 4, Dame having like Bobby Portis, guys like Gary Trent kind of fill in there. But
they've been trying to trade Connaughton, so we'll see if he gets shipped out. But yeah, I mean, I think it's like, to me, it's Boston, New York, Cleveland, and then Milwaukee's probably that next team. I mean, I think they're better than Indiana.
Yeah.
The Heat, give me a break. Like, the East is already down to 4 teams. It's the Cavs, the Celtics, and Knicks and Bucks.
Eastern Conference is an absolute joke this season. I mean, the West playoffs this year is going to be must-watch TV. So.
I mean, the Warriors and Spurs are on the outside looking in. They just made huge trades. So, yeah, it's going to be fascinating to watch. All right, we'll get back to the conversation here and hit on some of the other big trades. Got to talk Jimmy Butler as well, but do want to tell you guys about our friends and sponsor, best ticketing app out there. It is Game Time. You want to go to an NBA game? You want to go to the big game here in a couple of days? How about a concert? How about a comedy show? How about taking your family out to a family event? I know Disney on Ice was in Chicago last week. That would have been a great time. Wherever you live, wherever you're from, if you need tickets to go somewhere, get your tickets with Game Time. A lot of cool features with the Game Time app, including Game Time Picks. What Game Time Picks is going to do when you filter that feature on is narrow down your search, because a lot of these, especially sporting events, have thousands of tickets available. You don't want to be scrolling all day. It'll kind of pinpoint different prices within the venue, and based on your budget, you'll be able to find tickets in a timely manner. You can also toggle on all-in pricing. That way you're not surprised at checkout with any fees that may hit you. You know in real time how much you're paying for those tickets, views from the seats, events cancellation policy, and if you find a better price in the same section and row of a ticket that you're trying to get on a different ticketing service, improve that to Game Time. They're going to give you 110% credit. They want to give you the best deal available. So check out Game Time today. Download the app, create an account, use promo code ChatSports, all one word, ChatSports, to get $20 off your first purchase only. Terms do apply there. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. What time is it? It is Game Time.
Harry, speaking about Game Time, Lakers return to Dallas. What do you think the cheapest price is on Game Time?
I know it's been going up. I'm going to guess $300.
Lowest I'm seeing is $277 here.
The closer we get, the more that's going to go up, I would say. Usually last minute tickets, lowest price is guaranteed with Game Time. That one might be the opposite.
That
one you might
return.
If you want to go and you're comfortable with the current prices, you may want to just pull the trigger on that. So shout out to Game Time. We appreciate them sponsoring today's show. Okay, here's an interesting nugget from Mark Stein. I'll just read it here. We'll get it on screen when we can. The Cavs and Hawks remain engaged in trade talks on DeAndre Hunter to Cleveland. Sources tell him and Jake Fisher. I do want to have a quick Jake Fisher discussion in a second.
Please do.
With teams attempting to build out a trade construction in which both stay under the luxury tax. So there's been a lot of Hunter to Cleveland. I will say I'm finding it tough to take the Cavs seriously as a title contender. I do think a Hunter addition helps. I mean, kind of like Kuzma, positional versatility, can play defense, can space the floor. So that would be interesting. Jake Fisher, you want a theory?
Go for it.
I'm not going to drag Jake Fisher. We all know the story from the draft. It's effing where the real ones know.
Yep.
Are his scoops now just Stein just like handing off scoops here and there, the ones he hears because he works for his Substack?
Yeah, I mean,
that's my theory. I nothing. Hey, I respect the hustle for Jake Fisher.
This is the definition of riding a coattail right here for Jake Fisher, I think. But yeah, I mean, from the Cavs side of things, I think Hunter would help. I just still got question marks. Like when the playoffs roll around, are you running a Donovan Mitchell high pick and roll over and over again? Like that's where they've really struggled. Like I think it's gonna come down to guys like Mobley. If Mobley could be a consistent,
like, is he ready
guy,
to be a major playoff player?
I don't know. I mean, he was getting cooked by Drew Holiday still the other night. Like if they get a tough matchup, I could see them being a second round exit if they get Milwaukee, New York, or Boston.
Like I just wonder if they're just like playing harder than these other teams in the regular season, and then when the playoff starts. Like I'm not trying to diminish what they are, but like the NBA more than any other sport, and it's true in every sport, but like it's night and day playoffs.
Regular season playoffs, yes.
Yeah, it's just not the same deal.
And I hate saying it because they're 41-10. They're having a great year, but if I would be shocked if they made the finals. Absolutely shocked if Cleveland's in the finals.
I would pick Boston and New York for sure to beat them in a playoff series, and Milwaukee, like to me, that's like 50-50. And I'm not even a big Bucks, like, I'm definitely not a big Doc Rivers believer, but, like, I would probably take the Giannis-Dame combination over the Mitchell-Garland grouping.
It would have an ideal front court to stop Giannis and, build the wall that what the Raptors did, but I think Giannis has developed so well over the last couple of years that he is going to
become a really good passer. Like, he can find the open man. So
he'll be a problem, but Yep Yonner's coming in here with a $5 super chat saying, let's talk Thunder. I'd love to. How can we get Colin Sexton without losing our good bench players? Is there someone else we should go for instead? So Thunder are an interesting spot. Boatload of picks. I think it's still 17 first-round picks over the next couple of seasons. I still think they're the best team in the NBA, even though once the playoffs roll around and if it's a Lakers-Thunder matchup, I know myself, I will be taking the Lakers. But I think the Thunder are a well-constructed team. Chet, I think we got a report earlier that he's going to be back in the lineup soon here. But you did make already one move. You picked up Daniel Tice. Solid option there. I'm just very excited to see the Thunder when they're full five of Dort, SGA, Jalen Williams, Hartenstein, and Chet, how dominant they are because they'll probably be the best defensive team in the league, and you got one of the best scorers in SGA. Jalen Williams, huge X factor heading into the playoffs this year.
That's the biggest question I have, which is why I think this question is actually an interesting one because I think he's saying, can we get another scorer on this team? Who is that second guy for the Thunder come playoff time? Because last year the answer was they didn't really have one step up. Like in that Mavericks series, Shea was pretty damn good the whole series. Jalen Williams was not very good at all. Chet had moments, but he was 19, 20. He wasn't quite ready. Are those two players in particular ready this time? Like, can Jalen Williams go average 23 in a playoff series? Because the answer last year was no.
No.
And you're going to need a second guy after Shea to be a consistent scorer. Now, the beauty of the Thunder is it doesn't have to be the same guy every series.
Right,
It could be Chet one series. It could be Jalen Williams. It could be other guys. But
for the Thunder, like Chet and Jalen Williams, they're both in year 2 last year. And I was saying, even though they brought in Hartenstein, they brought in Caruso, great moves to get you better on the margins. But the biggest step they will take is just those guys in years 2 or in years 3 compared to 2. Like, are they more developed? Are they, more accustomed to playoff basketball? Those questions will be answered once the postseason rolls around. Thunder are a very good team. You still are just hesitant. It's like when they get in a playoff series versus Luka and LeBron, or even like Steph and Jimmy, like, do they have enough guys down the stretch of these games where it's not just like SGA or bust necessarily?
Well, because I think all these other Western Conference teams that they're going to be competing with, like, are going to have a second guy that can give you 30 on any given night. Like Luka and LeBron, they can do that. Like if the Nuggets, they have like 3 or 4 guys who could do that on any given night. Say what you want about the Rockets and Grizzlies, inexperience. The Thunder are still relatively inexperienced. Both those teams have multiple guys who can score a lot. I'm not betting against the Thunder. I need someone is going to have to take that next step in the playoffs from a scoring standpoint, because the defense is going to be very good.
It's going to be awesome.
But it's hard to win these playoff games night in and night out, 105 to 102. Like, you're going to have some games where you score 120 points.
And also, just for Jalen Williams in his career, if he fizzles out in the playoffs again, and with all the picks the Thunder have,
he becomes very tradable this summer.
Oh, this summer, I would guarantee he would be on the move if he has a disastrous playoff performance. So, big year for Jalen Williams and the Thunder, but we'll see.
Hollywood, surreal that Graham and Patrick are back together. Hey, listen, dynamic duo coming at you. Boom! Could re-signing Lonzo be a precursor for a run at LaMelo? Take that one, Seeps.
Geez, that's a lot right there.
That's a fun angle.
That would be awesome. I would personally invest in LeVar Ball, a courtside seat for every game. I will start a GoFundMe for that. I think that would be electric in the United Center. I like the Lonzo Ball deal. I talked about it last night. 2 years, $20 million. I mean, $10 million a year.
Team option on the second one, right?
Yeah, team option on the second year, which is great.
Work out. Yeah.
LaMelo in Chicago, it would be a lot of fun. I still am very skeptical of LaMelo. I know he's putting up good numbers this year. He's still incredibly inefficient. I feel like he would be a pain in the ass to play with if I was his teammate.
But if he was playing with Lonzo, though, I wonder if, like, Lonzo, who's, like, been through everything now, just like, we got to play, because Lonzo's, they couldn't be polar opposite of players right now in their careers. So I think it'll be interesting. I don't hate that angle, Hollywood. Appreciate you sending the 5. For a max contract, too, his contract's not that bad. So, like, the cap hits the next 4 years. Just under 38, 40, 43, 46. It's obviously a lot, but, like, a lot of these guys are like 50, 60 million.
Well, SGA is going to get up to 80 here.
Yeah, so it's one of those deals where it'd be fun. It would bring juice back to the fan base for sure.
It would bring juice back to the fan base. Like, this would be, like, let's say we get reports, Bulls are trading Kobe White today. They're trading Vooch. Like, then maybe. I mean, I would still, I don't know what.
It's not going to happen today, but, like, I do wonder if LaMelo's starting this summer, if, like, trade buzz starts to increase, because, like, what is Charlotte going for?
And LaMelo, he needs to be in a bigger market, dude. He just needs to.
Yeah, like, if you're going to be in a small market, it's got to be one of these teams that knows what they're doing, like the Thunder, the Bucks, like these teams, Spurs, these teams that have proven Denver over time that, like, Charlotte's, and since they've had a team, since they came back, they've never been even average.
No, yeah,
they've been horrible.
I actually do wonder about Denver, you bringing them up, if they could get sneaky aggressive today. Because you got to take advantage of Jokic here. He's having an unreal season. We'll see if they make a move today.
Did you bring back Bruce Brown somehow?
He was
awesome
huge
for them a couple years ago.
What about a little Marcus Smart? Speaking about this, we'll get you guys involved here. Name a player that will get traded today. I think Marcus Smart's a good name.
Holy shit. Big news. Bulls people watching. Bears owner Virginia McCaskey just passed away. 102 years old. I know that Bears fans are watching, so that's pretty significant news. So R.I.P. Thoughts and prayers to her, the McCaskey family. But that's going to be interesting moving forward with this stadium situation, ownership.
What are there, 90 McCaskies out there?
Yeah, I mean they're all it's all kinds of stuff. We're gonna focus on the NBA here, but I know with us being live on Bulls, that's people are interested in that. But all right, go back to what you were saying.
Yeah, no, just name a player that could get traded today. I think Marcus Smart's probably one of the bigger names. Obviously, Bulls fans, we got our eyes on Vooch and the Golden State Warriors. Trying to think like another random big name. I would have thrown Randall out there before he got hurt. Don't really think he's getting dealt. KD, that one's done. He's going to stay in Phoenix. I feel like Zion maybe, but I still think a lot of these big names were already dealt. I think it's just going to be a lot of margin moves today. But still, I mean, we got just over 2 hours, not a lot of moves. Marty K saying Paul George. I don't know who's taking that contract. Might have to attach picks to it, but we'll see how that plays out on that side of things.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays. I get some shout-outs here. Anthony Simons. I do wonder if eventually Portland, like they've got all those guards, like Sharp, Simons. Like
a lot of them play the same way, too.
I know you're kind of back in on Scoot.
Scoot, my guy. Everybody was selling Scoot stock, and I was too when he showed up baked to his summer press conference. That was not a good look for my guy. But, yeah, I'm a massive Scoot guy. I wanted the Bulls to trade up and get him. But I think we can just kick this to obviously the biggest trade yesterday that we didn't really talk about. Jimmy Butler heading to the Golden State Warriors, and he also got a 2-year, $112 million extension with the Bay Heat. Receive Andrew Wiggins, P.J. Tucker, who was rerouted earlier today for Davion Mitchell, Kyle Anderson, and protected first-round pick. I'll probably convey this season, so that'll probably be in the 20s if Golden State goes on a run. Harry, do you have any kind of thoughts initially on the Jimmy Butler move here?
My initial thoughts are I don't love Butler's fit with how Golden State has played historically, but I also think, like, if you're Steph, if you're Draymond, if you're you got to try something. Like, I don't view this as a title contender, to be honest. I think they'll at least get into the play-in. I mean, right now they're not even in the play-in, so I do think they'll at least improve.
You have big game players, which I like, especially when you get into these playoff series. Like, just like we were saying, different type of basketball in the postseason. I'm the biggest Steph Curry fan out there. He has not been the best closer in the playoffs when it's just, hey, toss him the ball, go make a move, go get a bucket. They have a guy now in Jimmy Butler who's excelled in that in big postseason games. But still, besides the three, you don't really have much.
Yeah, I mean, like, they've missed on so many role guys. Like, Podziemski's been terrible. I mean, Kuminga's fine, but, like, he's not, like, a star. Looney just rebounds. He doesn't give you a ton. And to your point, and you're right, like, they got 3 massive big game players in Steph, Draymond, and Jimmy. They're all objectively past their primes, too, including Steph. Like, if you've watched this year, and maybe he ramps it up in the playoffs, we know it's a different deal, just not having as good of a year. And look, he's getting older. Like, it's kind of how this goes. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not that convinced Jimmy, like, this is all just about him not caring at all. I know he's kind of had that, like, label, but we're now 2 years removed since he's played meaningful games at this point. Like, we'll see this in the next year or two, but he's 35. I'm not selling the Warriors completely. I would be objectively shocked if they won more than one playoff series. I just don't think they have enough.
And I say, like, agree with everything you said. I still think this was 110% the right move for Golden State.
As long as Steph is playing and wants to be there, you have to try. I mean, it's
100%.
And look, I think more interestingly is you play this year out, and then this summer you see what I think this summer becomes really interesting for the Warriors. Like, do you flip Draymond somewhere and try to get a more, like, young offensive-oriented player? Do you, if you're going to have Jimmy and Steph be your two guys, do you, like, transition more to, like, having, like, a true center that can give you, like, quality play? Like, I don't think you can run what you've done forever when Clay was still there with Jimmy on your team. Like, I think you're going to have to slow it down and play more half court. Yeah. And that's going to be an adjustment. Like, that's going to be tough for what they've done historically.
I mean, because they've always been just constant movement, read and react.
That's not
make
Jimmy
a quick
at all.
move. That's not Jimmy Butler. But then again, when the postseason comes around, the pace of play obviously falls off a cliff. It's a lot more slower. I'm very excited to see how this is going to play out. We'll see.
Jimmy's got a lot to prove, man. I mean, he's acted like, you know what the last couple months. So.
And also, Draymond, Jimmy Butler. Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler. They're either going to love each other or they're going to hate each other.
I mean, betting odds of before the end of this season of a report coming out of friction within the Warriors locker room.
Oh, dude.
Minus 200?
Yeah.
I mean, it's at least even odds. I mean, that's very much on the table. Grade this trade from Golden State's perspective, A, B, C, D, or F. We'll get some shout-outs here. Josh says C. Scott says C. Trevin thinks Kevin Durant's getting traded. I just don't see it. I think it was Warriors or bust, and he shut that down. So Rashard Lee says B. Carl Jean-Baptiste says B. David says C. Ian says the 76ers are making moves. I'm still waiting.
They're in a terrible spot. Just moving
Dude,
forward.
I mean, I don't think any of us could fault them for doing what they did this summer, but, like, Paul George looks so diminished.
That was an awful deal.
I mean, he looks terrible. Embiid, look, when he's healthy, he's still good, but he plays about 40 games a year. I like Maxey, but does anyone think he's a true 1 on a contender? Like, ideally, he's a 2.
He would be a very, very good 2. Like, I think he would be a high level.
I mean, he's a 25, 30-point guy, but.
I mean, listen, if Embiid's, like, if the Sixers had Embiid playing 110%, giving full effort, like
65 games a year, yeah.
You like their team. Like Maxey's a stud. Try to replicate what Jokic and Murray have had with the big and guard combo. But I mean, if Embiid's not playing, like who cares? I mean, you can't take that organization seriously heading into the playoffs if Embiid's still the biggest question mark in the NBA.
Paul George on a max too, when he's playing like a average starter, like that's tough to overcome.
It is.
Like from a roster construction standpoint. So like you can't overcome that and Embiid not playing.
Yeah.
Like you can get by with one and hope playoff time they're all healthy. But
I mean, if Paul George is having a great year, you still like them just to be better than what they are right now.
Well, it's one of those where it's like just get to the playoffs, hope Embiid's healthy. Like that's
and now you can't even get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like that's what's so frustrating. If I was a Sixers fan, yeah, we'll see.
I mean, they're 11th in the East, so like Embiid just came back. Like, can they get to at least like the 8 spot?
You're assuming the Hawks, Bulls will start tailing off.
Can you get to the 8 spot, win, and play Cleveland in a 1-8 game?
Like, I mean, I'm looking at it right now. If they get to the 8 and they have the Pistons in that play-in game, if Embiid's there, I'm taking the Sixers.
Yeah, honestly, if you're Philly, best case scenario, you get the 8 seed, which you would lose the play-in game.
Yeah.
But win the second one, and then you play the Cavs because they're not beating the Celtics. They never do.
No.
They're not beating the Knicks. Those are the only other teams that they could play in the two seed spot. Like their best chance is to get the 8 seed.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, Boston would wipe the floor with them.
I don't think they'd win a game against Boston. I really don't. I mean, maybe they'd win a game against New York, but like Cleveland, Embiid, like if Embiid's healthy, I think he could have a big series. I mean, obviously they have big defenders now, but yeah, it's been a disaster for Philadelphia. We'd love to get to 399,000 subs today. We're 502 away. We're only 12 away. 512. We're only 12 away from 398,500. Hit that subscribe button. We're covering every angle of the NBA trade deadline for the next 2 hours and change. We'll have some winners and losers once the deadline comes and passes as well. So stay tuned for all of that. But we got you guys covered every single day here at Chat Sports, NBA, NFL, college football coverage. Check us out. We're also live on the Bulls Report. Seeps is pumping out videos, multiple per week. So go check them out. Hit that subscribe button. We greatly appreciate it. Tito. HG Bears Now today. I put out a mailbag this morning, Tito.
They're feeding over there, dude.
They're like Tyrone Biggums.
He's just itching himself right now. Needs more Harry.
Get the crack rock going. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna try to get it to a video this afternoon as well. But we'll see. What do we got here? Trevin. Let's talk Pacers. What should they do with the cap space, and who should they add or trade? Indiana's in an interesting spot. Like, they're clearly a solid team, but what they did last year kind of feels like the ceiling this year. Like, if they get the right matchup, sneakily get to the conference finals and then get smoked again. Like, I don't view them as better than last year.
Honestly, I think Indiana just one of those teases again. I just don't think a Halliburton Siakam 1-2 punch is nowhere near good enough to go on a serious run in the playoffs.
They have you know what they have? They have 3 threes.
Yeah.
Halliburton, 3 on a title-winning team.
Siakam.
Miles Turner, 3 on a title-winning team.
Siakam could be a 2
Siakam
if he plays his tail off.
At this point, probably a 3 on a title.
Yeah.
So, they're kind of like a worse – the Mavs now, they're like the Robbins team. They have 2 of the best 2s of this era in Kyrie and AD. Neither of them are 1, which is another reason why I hated the trade for Dallas. In the last 25 years – you have to have a number 1 to win a title. Kyrie, as a number 1, has had very little playoff success. I think Davis has won 1 playoff series with the Pelicans as a number 1.
Yes, and he was also with Boogie and Drew Holiday.
And Rondo was playing out of his mind.
Yes.
It's not a knock on those guys. It's just you need the top guy, which Luka was one of about 7 of them in the NBA, and you traded him for a Robin. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
So there you go, Trevin. Rocky with the 20.
This is actually my dad tuning in right here.
Oh, Mr. Seeps.
He was not happy. Apparently, it's all ice in Chicago today.
Oh, yeah.
And then he was looking at the Dallas weather, so he was not happy about that.
So yeah, scooping ice and snow out of the driveway.
Taking that cute dog on screen right now for a walk, just on a sheet of ice. So
is that your dog's name, Rocky?
Rocky back home.
I love the name in the YouTube account after Rocky. That's electric.
Alrighty, we
got to spin the wheel for Rocky.
Let's do it.
Let's go. All right, let's get it.
Here we go.
What is Rocky gonna have us do?
Hot take or Joey shot here?
NBA hot take. Okay, let's each give one. What is your hottest take right now? For current, I think current stuff going on.
For this season.
Sure.
I'll go. I don't know how hot this is. I'll go Mavs and Lakers square off in the Western Conference Finals.
Oh, man.
I think the Mavs would be a tough matchup for a lot of teams in the postseason. That's what I'll go. I'll go hot take, not likely. I'll go Mavs-Lakers, Western Conference Finals. Book it. What do you got?
I was going to do something negative Mavs, but I feel like that's too –
They missed the playoffs.
I was going to say they lose in the play-in. And don't even get into a first-round series. That'll be one. I'll give another one.
What would happen at the American Airlines Center if that was the situation? Be burn the building down?
Yeah, I actually do. I'm serious.
It would be a celebration out front.
I really do think, at least for this season, I think Mavs fans want Nico to look as stupid as possible.
Yes.
Which is what I want. And, people have called out my fandom because of that in the bullpen. That's fine. It is what it is. But,
I think
I've tried to explain this to people. The Mavs, someone put this so well on Twitter. The Mavs fans understand we're not the Lakers. We're not the Celtics. We're not even the Knicks. We're never going to have that amount of relevancy.
Yeah.
But we had Dirk. He was our guy. He stayed here forever. We got lucky and got Luka, who also wanted to be here. Now, would he have been here for his whole career? Who knows? But he was at least here for the foreseeable future.
Yep.
And, we wanted to go through the journey with Luka to see if he could get to the mountaintop.
Yeah.
Just like we did with Dirk. We lived this already. I promise you, no Mavs fan would trade Dirk for Duncan. I've told this people here, even though he won 5 titles in that success, because he's our guy. That's the part of this that Nico and the new owners don't understand is the emotional part of this, the fan attachment. And I get it. You can't run a team based on what fans would do, but this one objectively is just bad for the on-court too, especially long-term. But yeah, it's that's why Mavs fans in the short term at least want this to be bad because it has nothing to do with the current players. It's all about Nico and ownership. They want them to look stupid. I'll give a second hot take. Celtics lose in the second round.
Okay. I like that.
I think we get Celtics Knicks second round. I think the Knicks beat them.
Yeah. I like the Knicks coming out of the East.
So
this year
that'll be. I know it's the regular season. When you win a title, you can kind of go through the motions, but something feels a little off with Boston this year.
Jaylen Brown's not the same
he's
guy.
He's not been as good.
Drew Holiday's lost a step. Derek
I do
so
think
great.
Holiday's diminished.
Yeah, 100%. And he was their second best player in the finals last year.
Yeah.
He was fantastic. But we'll get to more here around the NBA trade deadline. But first off, I want to tell you guys about one of our sponsors for our live show, and that being Prize Picks. Now, if you guys download the Prize Picks app today and plug in that promo code CLNS, you guys will get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the Prize Picks app today, plug in that promo code CLNS, get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Now, what is Prize Picks? Well, it's the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. And for the big game this Sunday between the Chiefs and the Eagles, they got a free pick for you guys where one Patrick Mahomes passing yard will get you 1 win on Prize Picks. So make sure you guys put this in all of your lineups this weekend. It's a free win from Prize Picks, so take advantage and just enjoy the big game by creating a lineup and following along throughout the whole event. So download the Prize Picks app today, plug in that promo code CLNS, get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the Prize Picks app today, plug in promo code CLNS, get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. A massive shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's show.
We have
Prize
an
Picks,
update to
run
this
your game.
Sorry, we have an update to this Caleb Martin trade.
Really?
Mark Stein tweets out here the updated details that, the first second went to – wait, hang on a second. No, this is not correct. Take this off screen. Here's the tweet from Mark Stein. Caleb Martin has been sidelined with a recent hip injury and was said to be nearing a return for the Sixers, but after consultation between both teams in the league office. So, league's getting involved in the Caleb Martin trade, not
the Luka one. Yeah, right.
Philadelphia has agreed to send an additional second rounder. So are they swapping seconds? Because initially the Sixers got a second in the trade. So, is this maybe Caleb Martin's not as close to getting back as initially reported, and maybe he did a physical and he's further away? I don't know. But
so Nico Harrison is going to lay the hammer on the Caleb Martin trade, saying we need an extra second.
You got to give us that extra second. But, hey, Pelinka, you can bend me over.
For Luka, though,
for only one first rounder for Luka Doncic, the second or third best player in the league at 25 years old.
One of a kind, man. One of a kind.
Okay, Stein follows. He is something special, isn't he?
Generational talent.
Stein says that the full trade construction finalized today will send Caleb Martin and a 2030 second-round pick to Dallas for Grimes and a 2025 second-round pick back to Philly. Hey, Nico, getting it done, man. I'll tell you what.
Up, dude.
You know, he might be a winner in our trade deadline winners and losers. He got a second-round pick 5 years from now into that Caleb Martin trade. What a great deal that was for Nico Harrison. All right, just kind of recapping some of the – is this a new trade? I don't even remember this one.
Oh, yes. When PJ went to the Jazz. And now PJ.
So how many times has PJ been traded?
3.
Three?
Yeah.
Just retire, man.
Yeah,
it's been over.
Nobody needs to corner threes anymore from PJ Tucker.
I don't even think you can hit those anymore.
Mo Bamba heading to the Jazz.
Remember when Mo Bamba, like 2 years ago, it was like he's kind of arrived, and then he just sucks again.
Yeah.
He's just not good. This obviously was the big one. Luka to the Lakers, Davis to the Mavs, a lot of Max Christie as well. I will say Max Christie played pretty well.
He did.
I think he's going to be a good role player in this league.
Chicago kid. Shout out to Christie.
Yeah, shout out to Max Christie. We've beat that one down. We'll continue to hit it, obviously. De'Aaron Fox to pair up with Victor Wembanyama. The Sacramento Kings trying to become the 2021 Bulls for some reason. Yep. And also, Chicago facilitating that trade there.
Watch out for the 3 players the Bulls received to potentially be traded again.
Yeah, that was reported last night, right?
Trey Jones could be an interesting piece. Pair him up with Vooch in a trade, possibly to the Warriors. You sweeten that package just a little bit, but
if they went to the Warriors, what would be who would they have to ship out to make the salary work?
Pretty sure it would be Looney,
Gary Payton,
and then one other guy to help match
like
that.
Like Podziemski or something.
Yeah, honestly, the Bulls just cut bait. Honestly, even though I don't think Vooch deserves this, do him a solid. Like, he's just going to ride out his career with the Bulls playing meaningless hoops. At least have him play a couple of meaningful games. But
yeah, no doubt about it.
I just want to say real quick, sorry, I just want to pipe in. ESPN just started their coverage. We've been live for an hour. That's why you subscribe.
100%.
Yeah, ESPN, it's only been the craziest NBA trade deadline in the last maybe ever, and they're slacking here. So shout out to the 4-letter network. This was just pick swaps. No one cares. The Caleb Martin updated trade, swapping seconds, and Grimes going to the Sixers. This one, I still don't know what to make of it. I never understood, Seeps, why the Bucks re-signed Middleton at 3 for $100. I mean, I guess you flip him a couple years later, but he is so diminished at this point in his career. And I'm fascinated to see, can Kuzma be a good player on a good team? Yeah. Because we've never really seen that.
And also, if you remember when the Bucks won the finals, Middleton was like the biggest boom or bust guy.
He
in
was
that
their
playoff
closer.
Run. Yeah, he was the closer, and he would have games. He would go have 35, 40. He would also have games where he'd have obviously 10 to 15 points, but he was a big part of that run. I think he was one of the biggest reasons why they ended up winning that championship.
No doubt.
And you're going to have Kuzma get in there. I think Kuzma is obviously not one of the worst players in the NBA, but he is one of the losing-ist players, if that's a word. Like he just plays a loser brand of basketball. Never been a big fan of him.
He's been on bad teams and just puts up bad shots.
Is he going to be able to step into a playoff series, hit big shots? I really doubt it. Don't understand this. Chris Middleton, if I'm him, I'm hanging up the shoes right after this deal.
He gets bought out, right? Or flipped again. I mean, there's no way he's are you just rotting in Washington?
I hope not, for Middleton's sake. Yeah, he could be a buyout guy.
KJ Martin to the Pistons in a couple of seconds. Really don't know what I feel like the Sixers are now just in let's limit our tax bill mode.
Yeah. Trying to save some money right now.
Let's just punt on this year and try to run it back next year.
Speaking about the 4-letter network, Wendy has on one of the worst suits I've ever seen in my life.
Is it Halloween?
A bright orange tie, and I don't even know what blue you want to call it.
He's wearing a black button-down dress shirt, a Oklahoma State orange Halloween pumpkin tie,
and like a
magenta blue.
And then, yeah. Yep. That's hilarious.
That's
Frickin'
a tough
Wendy,
look.
dude.
That's a tough look for Shams. Keeping it classy. The white shirt.
I like it.
I'll tell you what. Shams stocked the last few months. So he basically tells Jimmy's agent to kick rocks when his agent comes out. He's completely right. Only insider to get the scoop on Luka trade. I mean, he is just Woj walks away, and it's a one insider league.
Yeah, it's a one.
I mean, Stein's like he's like the
Chris Haynes is good.
Yeah,
we'll get a couple here,
but there's a clear. It was always the Woj Shams debate. It's just Shams is at the mountaintop.
Maybe
is Jake Fisher a sixth man at this point?
I think we are closer to Shams than Jake Fisher is, Harry.
I think we could start an account on Twitter, and I mean, Fisher built a following just on rumors, basically.
We create like an AI system where every Shams tweet, we just kind of change the wording. We tweet it out right after. See if we can become the next insider here.
We could just be Tate Swisher on Tate Swisher NBA scoops. Jonas Valanciunas. This is another one. Why are they trading for Valanciunas now?
I forgot about this. I think this was yesterday
2
during
days
the day.
ago, maybe.
Last night.
Why? What does that do for Sacramento?
You running a double big lineup of
two
Sabonis
non-defensive
and Jonas?
centers?
Yeah. Sacramento. I always said the Bulls were the farthest team in the NBA from competing for a championship. I actually think the Kings take that now.
They've taken that reign, yeah.
They have no young players to build around. Maybe you can make an argument for Keegan Murray. But you have no young pieces. You got rid of Fox, franchise, in my opinion, a franchise point guard.
Dumped Halliburton a couple years ago.
You bring in DeRozan and LaVine, and you get blasted opening night of your new
What
core.
are they going for? Honestly.
Play-in tournament, man. These teams are addicted to it. They love selling out the play-in tournament.
Let's get those ratings for 1 to 2 games a year.
Yeah, light the beam, dude.
Dude, that was honestly so cool 2 years ago.
It was cool.
Now no one cares.
That Game 7 when Steph had 50, that was one of my most fun watches over the last couple of years for the NBA playoffs.
And the Kings have won about 40% of their games since then.
Yeah, it's just bad. But, this was obviously the second biggest move of the deadline so far. Jimmy Butler heading to the Warriors. Jimmy Butler, he has been a cancer out of at every team he has been to. I mean, when he was at the Bulls, Stacey King reported it. He was a problem. Went to Minnesota.
Disaster in Minnesota.
Disaster. Philly, he was all right, but still was causing some problems. Then with the Heat, caused issues there. I mean, I think it's the right move still. You had to give, due justice for Steph Curry, no doubt, give him a chance. But I just think, if you were just looking at the West, even if the Warriors get like the Spurs in a playoff series, I'm probably leaning San Antonio.
The Warriors feel like a play-in team to me.
Play-in team. Steph has a couple of nice moments. Maybe Jimmy has a nice moment.
If you're the Warriors, you hope you get the 7 seed and draw either Houston or Memphis.
Yeah.
Kind of like when they drew Sacramento a few years ago, where it's like you're just banking on experience to win that series.
I will say the Clippers are an interesting team. Playing good hoops. If they get Kawhi back, I actually wonder how much of a threat they would be in the West. They would be the team. Nobody would pick them to come out, but nobody would want to play them.
Just under the radar.
The radar. You got a guy like Kawhi, big playoff performer still. Ty Lue, one of the best head coaches in the NBA, especially in those playoff settings where you got to deal with him for 2 weeks. Harden, having a good year. Give him credit. Not shooting the ball well from the field, but still a great playmaker. Honestly, his game, I thought his game would fall off a cliff just because he's never been the biggest, hey, I'm going to take care of my body guy.
He's embraced being a distributor. I'll give him credit. I don't think you can win a title with him as a top 2 guy, but, he's more than functional. He could still get to his spots. He's one of the more underrated passers in the league. Now, he's going to take stupid shots, and he's going to have, over the course of a 7-game playoff series, at least 2 games where you're just like, dude, you're just killing us. But he's still a top 30-ish player in the league. It's not like he's a bad player. I'll give him credit.
Him and Westbrook, two of the best regular season players, over the last 10 years, they've actually aged very, very well.
Didn't it kind of feel like they were both kind of done? And, they're both more than serviceable.
Westbrook's got a key role. He's averaging 6.5 assists this year. He's had a really good season with Denver. But then again, playoff time comes around, different style of game. Pace slows down, where I think those guys, do struggle in that setting.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Lakers, though. Got to clap it. I think this was Rob Pelinka's best. Obviously, the Lakers are the Luka move, but this was a must. If Mark Williams stays healthy, they're going to be a problem.
Well, it's also a long-term play, too, because
23 years old.
Luka, if you have Luka on your team, you don't need, but you'd be dumb to not have a lob threat
100%.
Because of the way Luka gets downhill, gets that defender on his hip, and
it's either a push shot or throw it up.
There's no way to defend it because he's either going to just wear you down and get to the basket and score, the big's going to sag and you're going to throw the lob, or you're going to kick it to the corner for a wide-open shooter. You can't defend. I think Luka getting downhill is the most unstoppable play in the NBA offensively, and to really make it unstoppable is to have a lob threat, which Mark Williams is. So I like that move both for the short term and the long term. He's 23 years old. So I'll give Pelinka credit. I think the Luka thing kind of fell into his lap, but what does he do instantly? Let's build around Luka. That's what a smart team does.
I do quickly want to give a big shout out. Chicago Bulls Central in the live chat right now, one of the bigger Bulls YouTube channels out there. Shout out to you for tuning in, giving the eyeball emojis. Appreciate you, man. Shout out to y'all. But sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was just shifting to this one. Yeah, this is another okay. Is this just Toronto being like, well, you can't accuse us of not trying to bring good players in here? I don't know what to make of that. Ingram is kind of
interesting.
What category of player is he in? I
feel like I don't know if he's in that Beal, LaVine kind of tier of
good
player.
Stat, but not winning. Player.
I always thought Ingram was one of the more underrated playmakers in the NBA.
He's averaging 22, 5.5, and 5. He's always efficient, but doesn't play defense.
Never has been the greatest defender.
He's hurt a lot. He's only played in 18 games this year.
He also was terrible in the playoffs last season against the Thunder. I think he averaged 14 a game on terrible efficiency as well.
This is actually kind of crazy. So he's been in the league 9 years, which feels nuts.
I know.
I would have guessed 6 or 7.
Right.
So he played 79 games as a rookie. Since then, 59, 52, 62, 61. The 61 was the bubble year, so that's actually he played most of the season. 55, 45, 64, 18. If he gives you 60 games, you're happy. That's kind of tough for a guy who's not a A-level player.
We do want to I'll give you guys an update coming in here from Casey Johnson, one of the best Bulls beat reporters out there. He just tweeted out 8 minutes ago, if Vucevic isn't moved by deadline, he will again be in play in offseason. Vucevic has handled the fluid nature of to a situation with his typical class, although he did not admit he'd prefer clarity for his family. So we'll see. Vooch did say after the game, I don't expect much to happen by tomorrow. So we'll see if Vooch gets dealt here. The Warriors, we heard they're still interested in Vooch, but I think if I'm Chicago here, cut bait for a second. I know you want a first-round pick, but I still think if you just remove Vooch from that lineup, you will get more shots to these younger guys. And I still think that's the number one way to develop young players in the NBA. You just have to throw them out there. Like, you can do all the skill work behind the scenes. You can improve your game in the offseason, but I really think the biggest, development that can happen is when you get more shots. I think Modest Buzelis is a perfect example of that. Played 30-plus minutes for the first time the other night against the Heat. Dude went 10 of 10, 24 points, looked legit. So hopefully they're able to move off Vooch here, but we'll wait and see how the good old Bulls front office handles this situation.
Yeah, he's got 1 year after this year left for just over $21 million. So, like,
maybe they try to trade him before the draft. Like,
it's not that bad of a contract.
It's
trade,
really
honestly.
not.
Like, if you're a team like in a short-term window like Golden State, it's not the worst swing. I mean, like, I don't think he's that conducive to winning, but like, he's a floor spacer. Their center play has just been atrocious in Golden State.
And I will say Vooch pretty good at the typical Steph Curry gets a high pick and roll. They blitz him. They drop it off to the big, and he's playing 4-on-3 attacking the rim. Vooch is a solid playmaker in those spots defensively. You guys know my thoughts on him. I think he's the worst defensive big in the NBA. He cannot guard anybody. But
he'll at least rebound.
Yeah, and also his three-point shooting has fallen off a cliff in the month of January. 16 games played. He shot like 20-something or 26% from three when he was shooting like 40+% for the previous 4 months. So,
maybe playing with Steph, he'd get back going. I mean, you're going to get probably better looks, but
yeah. We'll see what Vooch, how they handle that. I wonder, I doubt he would be a buyout guy this year.
Not with a year left.
Yeah, not with a year left.
The problem is
you'd have to just.
Well, he's leaving. I mean, chances are you'd have to eat most of the remaining money. So, like, teams typically don't do that with more than a year
Jerry's
left.
Not.
He could be a buyout after next deadline. Like, if he's still there and they don't trade him, like, I could see that, but I doubt it would happen here. And plus, I still think even if you wait into the summer, like, you could get a second-round pick for him.
I would
think.
Yeah.
Expiring deal this offseason, I could see that being the case. All right, we need to hit a 50% like rate here on Chat Sports. We've got 874 people watching, so we got to get well over 400 likes here. So hit that like button. Let's make it happen here on today's show. We got about an hour 45 until the trade deadline. Do you want to stagger here and, like, I'll go get quick food and then we can swap?
Yeah, go for it.
I also want to do a quick short on this McCaskey thing.
Yeah, go handle it. Do what you got to do.
I'm going to hop off. Steeps will be with you guys, and then I'll be back here in like 15 or so.
Had about 50 comments on the Bulls report saying, Harry, I don't know if you know, but McCaskey died. So I think they're feeding for that from you. But, yeah, we're going to hang out here. If you guys could, hit that thumbs up icon. Hopefully we can get a trade here in the NBA world over the next couple of minutes. But, it's been one of the best trade deadlines of all time. And if all of these moves would have happened on one day, I mean, it would have been one of the most chaotic days. But we'll see who gets dealt here. I mean, Vooch is probably the biggest name that's been floated out there on the trade block. Could he go to the Golden State? I've been throwing out the Spurs as an interesting team also for Vooch. I do like the combination of that front court. You have Vooch, offensive-minded big, next to Wemby, in my opinion, the best defensive player of all time already. I like that combination of those two. But, I think the Bulls are pretty set on getting a first for Vooch. That's been what the reporting has indicated. Could they get a second? Probably. Would they give him up for a second? We'll have to wait and see.
We do have an interesting update.
If
we want to talk about Kevin Durant for a second.
Oh, please.
Shams said on their coverage that NBA teams are still making, in quotes, aggressive calls for Kevin Durant.
No way. Okay, so that's a pretty big update on the Kevin Durant front here. Still unlikely, I think, that a trade gets done, but maybe if Phoenix, if they're looking around the West, like, you don't have any chance to come out of that come out of that conference. Or honestly, I don't think they have a chance to win the playoff series. They just got swept by Minnesota in the first round this past season. We'll see if he gets dealt. I'm really curious, Lana Ray, like what those teams, or who are the teams that are calling on a potential Kevin Durant trade? Very, very curious. But yeah, KD, Shams saying teams are still making aggressive calls to acquire Kevin Durant. What if the Warriors get back involved here? Draymond, Kuminga, pods, and picks for KD, and you got Steph, Butler, and Kevin Durant. Could you imagine? The Rockets are probably, maybe they're making aggressive calls as well. What about a team like Denver? What if Denver gets in the Kevin Durant sweepstakes here? We'll see. Got a little something cooked up for us, Lana Ray? What do you think about the Bulls getting LaMelo? I think it's unlikely, but yeah, you guys let us know. Will Kevin Durant be traded today, or will he remain on the Phoenix Suns past the 2 o'clock deadline here for the NBA trade deadline? Give us a Y for yes or an N for no. We'll give you guys some shout-outs, but let us know, do you think KD will be traded today? What if the Bulls got KD? As much of a fan I am of Kevin Durant and the basketball player he is, does not make a whole lot of sense for the Bulls. And plus, I don't know how you would even get to that $50 million that you would need to match. I mean, maybe Vooch, Patrick Williams, his 18, 20, you get to 38, and he's got to get 12 mil. Maybe you throw Kobe White in there. Maybe that would be the deal, but I just don't think it would be a smart move for the Bulls. Just because I think sometimes you need to take a couple steps backwards to really try to compete for a championship, and I think the Bulls just got to take a chance here in the draft lottery this upcoming season. Hopefully you can land a top 5 pick, get one of these studs that are coming out, like an Ace Bailey. Obviously, Cooper Flag, capture the flag. You know, that's been the call here for Bulls fans, but, you know, we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. Golden State doesn't have a bench. Yeah, that's also a big issue for the Warriors. NFG saying trade Ayo, keep Kobe. His value will go up once Vooch and Ayo is gone because his usage will be up. I totally agree with that. I would rather have the Bulls keep Ayo over Kobe just because of the defensive side of the floor. And I think Ayo, he is a winning basketball player. He will be a key piece on a championship team. I wholeheartedly believe that about Ayo Dosunmu at some point in his career. But, you know, we will wait and see. White, Vooch, and Williams for KD. That would be a banger of a trade. But I do want to give a shout out to the guys on the main side of things for hitting that subscribe button. We appreciate you guys. If we could hit 399 on today's live show, that would be awesome. Hit that subscribe button. Also on the Bulls side of things, if you guys want to subscribe over here to the Bulls Report as well, have around 400 people in the building. It's a new age of Chicago Bulls basketball, so if you guys want to stay up to date around the latest on the Chicago Bulls, help us out. Hit that subscribe button. We would really, really appreciate it. What do we got over here? Harry's got some happy dads on deck. You know what? If we pick up 10 subscribers here in the next minute, mainly just because I want to have a happy dad, I'll crack one open. How about that? You guys could help us out. Help us out. Yeah, no big news yet coming out of the NBA side of things. Appreciate everybody hitting that subscribe button on the Bulls Report. We're actually 102 subs away from 11K. So if you guys could hit that sub button, that'd be great. If we could somehow hit 11K on today's show, that would be awesome. Warner saying Ayo to the Lakers. That'd be a great pickup for Los Angeles, but I would want the Bulls to at least get a first, and they don't have any tradable first out there so far. But look at that. One more sub. There we go. Appreciate you guys hitting that subscribe button. I'll refresh on the Bulls side of things here. There we go. We are now 99 subscribers away from 11K on the Bulls Report. So hit that sub button. Lock us in. Don't miss a thing around the NBA or the Chicago Bulls. Subscribe today. Oh, I was right about to crack it open. You guys threw me a curveball right there. We appreciate y'all for tuning in, though. Casey Johnson tweeted that there's no momentum on a Vooch trade. I'm going to go check out what Casey's saying here. Yeah. I'm not seeing that from Casey. The latest thing he tweeted was what we talked about. Let's send that to you. Him just saying if Vooch isn't moved by the deadline, he will again be in play in the offseason. And he wants clarity for his family. But also Vooch said, oh, yeah, no, here, I got it here. Yeah, more fluidity. Currently no momentum for a Vooch to Warriors deal. That was coming in from 2 hours ago. So maybe a Vooch trade is dead. Disappointing on the Bulls front. I'd like to start this rebuild. Chicago Bulls Central, what's going on? Bulls shouldn't trade Io. He literally can fit on any team structure, and his extension won't be crazy. You keep Io. I totally agree with you, man. That's why, honestly, that's why I wasn't the biggest fan of the Josh Giddey trade for the Bulls, because I actually love the idea of having your 1-2, kind of your backcourt combination, be Io and Kobe White. They play the game in different ways, and obviously Io, a defensive-minded guy, great in transition. Kobe has all the skill in the world offensively. I like that combination. I don't know, Chicago Bulls Central, do you got any takes on Josh Giddey if you think the Bulls should extend him this offseason? I'm kind of leaning no, just because he's not the best defender. Obviously, we knew that, and I wish we would have seen more development in his game personally. He's been shooting the three ball a little better over the last couple of weeks, but, the last 10, he's shooting almost 40% from three, so that's a good trend for him, but I don't know, Bulls fans, do you want to extend Josh Giddey this summer? You guys let us know. But this is the tweet coming in from Casey Johnson. More fluidity. Cannot pronounce that. Fluidity. Currently no momentum for a Vucevic to Warriors deal. 2 hours to go. So no momentum there for Vuce getting traded. But I don't know. The Josh Giddey front's interesting considering we just gave Lonzo. I love that deal. 2 years, $20 million. Bulls Central saying they'll extend him mainly because he's 22. And they won't want the bad optics. Yeah, where you trade Caruso, then you just let Giddey walk. But I still think if you're making a move for optics, it's not the best process, in my opinion. I don't know. Giddey's such an interesting player because he is so young. And he is still a very good basketball player in the NBA. He's a great playmaker. All of his passes are just right in the shooter's pocket, every single time. That's the one thing I love about Giddey. And I think that's a big reason why early on in the season, Zach LaVine, Nikola Vucevic were playing so well offensively. But the Bulls got one of the worst defenses in the NBA. I think Giddey's a big reason for that. Can't keep anybody in front of him. You're just constantly in rotation, and that just leads to teams just bombing threes on the Bulls. So, yeah, love the vision. Love Giddey offensively. I still want him to keep on developing that three-point shot. But, again, if the Bulls re-sign him for – it's not like I would be super, super upset about the deal whatsoever. Daniel saying extend him. He's a stud. Yeah, we'll see. But if you guys could, spam your NBA team for 30 seconds, and we'll pick one to talk about. So if you guys could, help us out. As we do have a trade. Here we go. Breaking news. We got a trade around the Phoenix Suns. Charania coming in, saying the Phoenix Suns are trading Jusuf Nurkic and a 2026 first-round pick, assuming that's one of the ones they got from the Utah Jazz, to the Hornets for Cody Martin, Micic, and a 2026 second-round pick. So we heard Nurkic could be on the move. Where does that leave the Suns center rotation, and could they get involved in a Vooch trade now? Let me look this up here real quick. Where does that leave their center rotation? They got Plumlee, I'm pretty sure, still. Yeah, I guess that's only Plumlee at the 5. Very curious to see what the Suns do after this. I think this means another trade's coming for Phoenix. I don't think they're running out where they're only I guess they have Bol as well, but I don't know if you got a lot of faith in him making a move. I do like the Micic pickup for Phoenix. Been a big fan of his game, but that's interesting. Maybe the Suns get involved in the Vooch sweepstakes now. We'll see, but there's another trade there. We're kind of getting quiet. What do we set it at? More or less of 9.5? What are we at, 4 right now? This will be 3 on the day. Still got over an hour and a half left. We'll see. Rico saying the Lakers. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, we'll talk about this trade here in a second. Rico saying the Lakers. Tell you what, Lakers probably going to be my finals pick after that Mark Williams deal. NFG saying send Io to the Jazz for a first. I'm not sure. Oh, you want to – the Suns traded away Nurkic, so just flip that at the top. Yeah, Nurkic is going to the Charlotte Hornets for Cody Martin. They're attaching a first-round pick as well. Now, Rico, Lakers are my finals pick right now. I'm a big fan of what they've done. That internet dude saying Vooch for Wemby straight up. I'm with it. I'm with it. Is Wemby, and Joey and Jack, you guys can chime in here, who is more untouchable? Victor Wembanyama or Patrick Mahomes?
Wemby. I think Wemby.
I think I would lean Wemby as well. Interesting combo. Both obviously untouchable, but Wemby or Mahomes, you guys can also chime in. Who is more untouchable? Yeah, if it's Io for a first, I'm keeping him. Yeah, so Chris Haynes saying Phoenix acquired first-round picks in the Utah deal and to unload a player, and that player is Nurkic. So that's the latest on that front. Imagine Bulls getting Durant. Hey, that'll be fun for this season. I just don't think for long-term trading for Kevin Durant is fixing any issue here in Chicago. Marty K saying Mahomes is more untradeable. Rico saying I got $5 on the Lake Show to win it. I might have to put $5 on the Lake Show to win it. But here's the updated trade. Nurkic head into the Charlotte Hornets and a first-round pick. So the Charlotte acquiring multiple first-round picks over the last 24 hours, and the Suns are receiving Cody Martin and Micic and a second-round pick. So that leaves their center rotation extremely, extremely thin. I don't know if this is a setup move for moves to come. They still have 2 of those first that they acquired from the Utah Jazz trade when they when they sent out that 2031 first and got 3 first-round picks back. So we'll see. As Marson saying Wemby is overweight, it might be traded. Should we start putting reports out there that Wemby can't? That Wemby has an eating issue and he's an alcoholic for he could get traded? Yeah, I'm pretty sure Wemby's at 300 pounds right now. If I was San Antonio, I would move off him. Probably to acquire Vooch, but you guys grade the trade for us. Give me an A, B, C, D, or F. I still think this is a setup move for moves that come for Phoenix. But also, does this kill a Kevin Durant trade? Because why would you give up first-round picks? Maybe you're trying to get a lot back for KD. I have no idea. This move is a little confusing to me. Giannis will be a Bull in the future. I doubt that. That'd be awesome, though. That'd be awesome. Harvest saying the same thing. Giannis will be a Bull someday. We can all hope. Jerry saying D, great in the trade. Eyewitness saying A for this deal. Yeah, it's an interesting move for Phoenix because now all they have is Plumlee and Bull as their centers. And, I guess they also have Nick Richards as well. So maybe they won't make a move at the center spot. Forgot they got Nick Richards. Yeah, it's an interesting move, though, for Phoenix. They're in a tough spot. As we got another report here, the Denver Nuggets are a team to watch for Chris Boucher of the Toronto Raptors. Yeah. So the Nuggets, they were a team that I thought could get aggressive today, trying to take advantage of Wemby. Oh, DeMarcus Cousins. Oh, wow. Okay, DeMarcus Cousins says, as his teammate, I learned there's always truth in his humor. If the Bucks don't work out, I could absolutely see him in Chicago. Giannis to the Bulls would be awesome. So Boogie throwing out there. Giannis to the Bulls. Don't hate it. I love push. Boogie? Yes, it was. Here, I'll send you a tweet here. That would be pretty cool, if you ask me. Keep on pushing that agenda, Boogie. We appreciate it. As Rico Ricky coming in with $1 super chat on the Bulls side of things. Shout out to you. And then also NY Recognition saying, what do you think the Blazers need to do? Blazers are hot, man. They've won 9 of their last 10 games. Blazers are an interesting spot because they have some great guards, no doubt about it. I'm going to see the latest here for Portland. Like, would you move off a guy like Anthony Simons maybe? Jeremy Grant, I think that's an underrated name that could get dealt. Like, you got Shaedon Sharpe, Anthony Simons, and Scoot Henderson. They all relatively play, different styles, but they're all guards. Maybe they try to move off one of those guys, but, I mean, they have a decent young core building. Like, I love the Donovan Clingan pick, even though he's only playing about 16 minutes a game here. Definitely has a lot of room for improvement, but I'm a believer in Clingan and the process of him developing. But, Denny Avdia, also I wish the Bulls took him over Patrick Williams. He's averaging 14.5 points per game. That's absolutely devastating, averaging 6.5 boards as well. So, yeah, the Trailblazers are in an interesting spot, but I do think the future looks bright for Portland. Definitely will say that. Jabari Walker also, too, a guy I'm a fan of. Haven't played a lot this season. Chris Murray, fan of his game as well. Like, they just got a bunch of guys where I like, individual players. Could they go on a run this year? Probably not, but they are hot as of late. Bulls fans, you should be rooting for Portland to somehow avoid the lottery here, because we do have their first-round pick if it's not in the lottery. So we'll see how Portland decides to play this. But also, if you guys want to support the show a little more, send us a super chat is the best way to do so. Any super chat, ask about your team, you'll get on the show. Also $5 to talk about your team as well. $10, give you guys a little beers cheers here, and then we'll spin the roulette wheel for a $20 super chat, and then for $50, me and Harrison Graham will do a beer bong race if you guys want to help us out here. Harvest Move saying Billy Donovan is untouchable. Who knows what Billy Donovan's contract is with the Chicago Bulls? They do not release that information. I actually wouldn't hate Billy as the coach for the Bulls, though, starting this rebuild. He seems like he wants to, just the way he was talking in that press conference, saying, every situation he's been in, it's been about developing a good culture and a good situation. So I wouldn't hate, Billy Donovan being the coach for the rebuild. Then you could move off him if it obviously goes, turns into a disaster. But we'll see how the Bulls handle that. What would you trade Io for? I think it would be a first and more. I think it starts at a first-round pick, unprotected. I'm not giving up Io for a lot. I'm a big fan of his game. He's awesome, man. I think he's a winning basketball player. I know, if you just look at the raw numbers, don't blow you away, but he's a good three-point shooter. He's developing into a good three-point shooter. Great from the corners, great in transition, great point-of-attack defender. The things he's great at translates to winning in the modern-day NBA. But this is what DeMarcus Cousins had to say. Trending. DeMarcus Cousins believes, shout out to Chicago Bulls Central, by the way. I think they're in the building. Saying DeMarcus Cousins believes Giannis could leave Milwaukee to Chicago if things don't work out. As his teammate, I learned there's always truth in his humor. If the Bucks don't work out, I could absolutely see him in Chicago. DeMarcus Cousins, clap it up for yourself, man. Keep on putting that agenda out there in the world. Speak it into existence. But shout out to Chicago Bulls Central for aggregating this. Harry, I want you you actually want to leave this on, Lanare? I want Harry to read this out. Bring more stars to Chicago. Why not, Harry? Some very strong.
What did he say earlier that I saw? Oh, he said that after I read this. All right, I'm back. Giannis to Milwaukee. Shout out Boogie Insider Cousins. As his teammate, I learned there's always truth in his humor. If the Bugs don't work out, I could see him in Chicago. That'd be fun. He also said earlier today he could see Bob Myers replacing Pat Riley in Miami.
Boogie said that?
Yes.
What is he doing?
He's just throwing out all the hits.
Boogie's trying to get clicks. Yeah.
He's like, I'm tired of playing professionally in Puerto Rico. I need to get in the media game.
So three things Bulls fans are rooting for. The Trailblazers to win a lot of games. The Bucks to absolutely collapse. This will heat up. This would be awesome. And then 3, I know I sound like a loser, but the Bulls to lose games. Increase that draft pick. But Giannis, we would welcome you in Chicago, no doubt about it. So please come on home.
Yeah, just make the trip. Anthony Davis expected to make his debut Saturday, so both Luka and AD making their debuts. If I was, I'm actually not joking. If I was the Mavs, I would wait until Monday because that's the first home game back. And the crowd is going to be ruthless
Yeah.
on Saturday night.
Saturday's
No
gonna be
fault
awesome.
of AD's.
Yeah.
It's nothing about AD.
I might try to go to that game. We're down here in Dallas. Go see the fans. That would be hilarious.
Do I buy a Luka jersey and go?
How
many Lakers Luka jerseys will be in the crowd? There will be a ton of Mavs Luka ones.
over under? I mean, it depends on how quickly they've gotten them,
Get
or
'em
how
turned
many
around.
Lakers jerseys with go
duct
tape over
tape.
the last name.
All right, let's talk about Game Time. One of our sponsors today. If you want to go check out Luka and the Lakers, AD and the Mavs, or any of your other favorite teams, you could do so by downloading the Game Time app. When you create an account, use promo code ChatSports to get $20 off your first purchase only. Terms do apply, but get your tickets to any event there. We're talking sporting events. We're talking comedy shows. We're talking concerts, other music events, whatever the case may be. If you need tickets, Game Time is the place to go. And not even just things like that, other type of events. Disney on Ice was in Chicago last week. You want to go get the family out? That sounds like a blast. Lots of awesome things to get out of the house and do, and get your tickets with Game Time. Use the feature Game Time Picks, which is going to narrow down your search for tickets and make it easier for you to find tickets to go watch your favorite teams play. It's going to narrow down from thousands of tickets available to just speed up the process for you. Views from the seats, all-in pricing, tons of awesome features when you purchase your tickets with Game Time. So when you're in your app store, search Game Time, big white letter G with the black background, logos right there. Create an account, use promo code ChatSports. Like I said, get you $20 off your first purchase only. Terms do apply. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. What time is it? It's Game Time. Go check it out. All right, Patrick Siepman's going to get a little lunch break in here, so I'll ride solo with you guys for a second. This is a fun game. Spam your favorite NBA team for the next 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Shout out your favorite team in the chat. I'll look down at the chat at the 122:15 mark. So a little more than 30 seconds. And the first team I see, we'll talk about here. We got about just under 90 minutes until the trade deadline comes and goes. And, interesting. A new report. I don't know if Seep saw this. The Knicks have been talking to the Bulls about some of Chicago's backcourt players, maybe Kobe White, Ayo Dosunmu. NBA Central has it. Originates from Jay Cowley Hoops. All right, 8 seconds here. If he doesn't have a good tweet for it, you could just do Central. That's fine. All right, here we go. The first team I see is the Cavs. Shout out T-Monts and Caden Luttrell. Or pretty close to each other. Cleveland Cavaliers, number one seed in the East right now, 41-10 record. They could use a backup point guard. Obviously, we saw a guy like Davion Mitchell go to Miami, so he'd be off the market. They have guys like Karis LeVert, George Niang, Isaac Okoro, and Amani Bates, some pieces that they could move. But they could use another guard to help spell Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. So we'll see if someone like that is out there for Cleveland, but that is certainly something they could use. Indiana's not going to trade him, but who's a TJ McConnell type out there that Cleveland could add? A guy that can play in the playoffs, knows what he's doing. That would certainly be an intriguing addition for Cleveland. All right, we'll run it back here one more time here. 30 seconds. We'll talk about your favorite team. So 121-45 mark. See Jay Cowley? Yeah. Who's back of the week? No Dilla? Just a quick. I had a couple Dillas. That'd be a good move for New York. Who do you think helps them more out as we bring Patrick Siepman back on? If you're the Knicks, Ayo for defense.
I'd probably say Ayo for defense.
He'd be what's his name? Kobe White be a fun 6-man though.
It would be a fun 6-man. No, I think Ayo would be great because you can run him off the bench with Deuce, have a great 1-2 punch. So
you could also play him in certain lineups next to Brunson to have a bigger defensive guard next to him, like in crunch time.
6'5" with a 6'10" wingspan. That'd be crazy.
It would take some pressure off Josh Hart having to just play all these different positions.
45 minutes a night.
Yeah. Oh, Tibbs. You think that's going to stop Tibbs from doing that? What do we got here? Oh, yeah. Just
leak the news.
Just another copy. That's
just another steal right there. Shout out to
shout out.
If you know, you know.
The real ones know. I'm sure people watching know. Okay. Warriors is the next team I'm seeing here. So obviously they've already traded for Jimmy. Do they add a center? We've talked about Vooch. Is there someone cheaper they could add? I'm not sure. But I still do wonder, Seeps, especially for this year. Like, with Jimmy on the team now, you're going to play a lot slower, I would think.
Yeah.
Like, who is a true big that's out there that could actually help them out, because they're just not built to play this small ball style anymore.
I mean, if playing slow, Vooch makes a lot of sense. Can't really think of too many other guys. There's also an interesting report.
I wonder if
out.
like a Andre Drummond as a buyout guy for them would make sense.
Drummond would make a lot of sense.
He would be just grab rebounds and
Play
give
that
you a
Looney
little more
role.
juice than Looney offensively.
Ramona Shelburne saying the Phoenix Suns locker room is toxic right now. Wow.
How soon until we get that for our good friend Jimmy Butler in Golden State?
You said Hunter to the Cavs?
Yeah, Shams, DeAndre Hunter to the Cavs for Karis LeVert, George Niang, and 3 seconds in 2 swaps.
That's
So they didn't have to give up a
deal.
first to get Hunter. Now, I know LeVert isn't nothing, but I like that for Cleveland.
I love that for Cleveland.
Gives them more size and length, and he could shoot the 3 ball.
I mean, they could run a lot of different linemen.
Their front court's pretty fascinating. You go him at the 3.
Mobley and Allen.
I mean, their size is kind of
guards.
coming back to the NBA, dude.
Oh, size
small ball,
has been back.
Small ball,
If you
a few teams tried to copy Golden State, including Sacramento. Didn't work.
No, and if you go look at like the last 10 NBA champions, they were all big physical teams. Like that 100% matters. That's why I thought the Lakers move was so huge.
The Warriors were the exception, not the rule.
Yeah, and that's also when you have Steph Curry, like
generational shooters, floor spacers.
Yeah, so that's an interesting move for Cleveland. I like it.
I do think they needed to do something. Like, I'm glad they're recognizing, like, yes, we're first in the East, but, like,
the process is
we know we need another piece. Like, that may not be the difference in them beating a Knicks or a Boston in the playoffs, but, like, you can't say they're not trying. Like,
this is a margins.
Yeah,
you get better on the margins.
Yeah, like your floor gets elevated, I feel like, here. Like, Hunter's a pretty seamless fit into any team.
Yeah.
With his ability to floor space and defend multiple positions. So I like that move. So
grade it for us, though.
Hunter to Cleveland, grade the trade for us. Get some shout-outs here. Malachi's calling it an A. We know, David. It's on screen. We'll get the full details.
Apparently there's an illness spreading some NFL news spreading around the Eagles locker room.
That Jalen Carter hasn't been available to the media for 2 days.
Fangio, hopeful he'll play.
Cue the Chiefs get lucky again.
Oh, my God.
It's all luck. You know it's coming.
Yeah. Is there going to be a rule change coming for players getting sick?
Yeah,
well?
you push the Super Bowl back.
Oh, man.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, good move for the Cavs, though. I like them recognizing you got to get better here.
Probably the only move they'll make, right? I mean, I don't think they didn't really have a reason to do some massive deal right now.
They got
That's
a great
good
5.
like B-level trade.
They got 2 great defenders now, or 3 great defenders in Hunter, Mobley, and Allen. Like the ideal 3, 4, and 5 you would need to have around Donovan Mitchell and
2
Darius
excellent
Garland.
scoring guards.
Yeah. So
see that game winner by Garland last night?
I did not see
Dude, he went coast to coast in 3 seconds, pull up from the logo from like 38 to beat Detroit.
Shit. I did not see that.
It was sick.
Yeah, but here's the full trade for you guys. These are 3 second-round picks being headed to Atlanta for DeAndre Hunter, Karis LeVert, and Niang.
How quickly narratives can change, too. I mean, again, we'll see what Cleveland does. But this time last year, we were like, oh, I mean, Mitchell's totally not going to re-sign.
Right,
yeah. Not only did he re-sign, they're first in the East, and they've just added a good piece. Like
they have been sneakily one of the best-run organizations in the NBA for the last, 15 years?
Yeah, I mean, obviously when you have LeBron, it helps, but
you look into the lottery with Kyrie.
But, to recover post-LeBron and be a good Eastern Conference team like they have been you get D. Mitch, you convince him to stay. No one thought he was staying there long-term.
Yeah.
And look, maybe down the road you end up trading him, like it turns into a Dame situation where he wants to go to a bigger market. But for now, he's not going anywhere.
That's a good comparison there. This Cavs team kind of feels like the Portland Trailblazers teams with Dame and CJ just 10 times better.
But they're building up the defense around those guys. That's something.
But you need to.
That's something Portland could never do.
Yeah,
they were never able to do that. They never had a true rim protect. Like, remember they had freaking the center in Phoenix, Nurkic.
Yes.
It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
If you're going to go Dame and CJ, you got to have a rim protector.
You got to have a rim protector. So, they're saying 3 second-round picks and 2 swaps here. Yeah. So 5 seconds.
Could be a win-win. I don't mind this for Atlanta. Like, Hunter's not a needle mover for where Atlanta is.
Where?
Dude, honestly, should they just trade like Trae Young this offseason?
Yes.
Like, trade Trae Young, get 2 or 3 firsts, and just hit the reset. Honestly, if they could trade him now, they should, and they should just tank and try to get in the flag sweepstakes.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. But maybe you trade him this offseason, and who's the guy that's coming the next year that everybody's talking about?
AJ DeBanza.
Yeah, he's
going to be a stud, man.
But then there's also the year after that, the guy that's going to BYU. Or is that
guy?
No,
that's that guy.
That's that guy?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And then you also got you got the Boozer twins. Oh my
Chicago,
goodness! If the Bulls got Boozer's
let's
kid
get
Cameron,
the Boozers back to Chicago, baby.
Boozer,
put Carlos
Modest.
on staff, little Jalen Brunson style.
I might make Carlos the head coach.
Billy, we'll see ya.
Yeah.
I'd like to say it's been a nice run, but it really hasn't.
Yeah, it has not, Billy. Yeah. Appreciate you for
That's good stuff. Hit that like button. We're just over an hour away from the NBA trade deadline being over. By the way, I don't know if y'all talked about this before I got back. There's a report that Phoenix is still getting a lot of calls.
Yeah.
And then now you got the Shelburne report, so you wonder if they consider
last
trading
second move here.
Well, last second Durant blockbuster.
I'm not Bulls fans. I'm not trying to get your hopes up here. I could see knowing this front office.
Let's trade for 36-year-old Kevin Durant.
KD, you want to make the play-in tournament exciting, Jerry. Kevin Durant being your main
Think
guy.
of all the players that could be in the play-in. Steph, Jimmy,
Durant,
Durant.
Even Luka and LeBron if they don't have a good
Embiid, Paul George, the Spurs
Fox
boys.
and Wemby. Yeah.
The play-in's gonna be better than the playoffs.
Silver's an idiot, man.
Uh,
Central, it was they clipped it from TV.
From a show, yeah. They're in the 7th seed right now. Make the play-in great again.
We need the annual Bulls-Hawks play-in game.
Yes. Let's get the Raptors. Maybe BI can rally the Raptors to the 10 seed.
Oh, God, dude.
They're only 5.5 back. It's probably not going to happen.
Pop Smoke coming in on the Bulls side of things. Rest in peace. Saying thoughts on Vucevic, Giddey, Patrick Williams, and a 2025 first-round pick for Giannis. Pop Smoke, that's a...
Nico Harrison might say yes, but the Bucks would say no.
This is a good thing about what the Mavs did. Because
you can't rule out any trade.
You never know. You never know. They just traded Luka. Why can't they trade Giannis? Like, shout out to Nico for the ludicrous trade rumors that I'll be able to talk about this summer.
Oh, it'll never end.
Because it's the easiest argument. Well, did you see what they did with Luka? I mean, they could do the same thing with Giannis. I mean, I might talk about trading for Jokic this offseason.
Luka was only worth an all-star and one first. Vooch, Giddey, Williams? Come on.
That's a haul, man. No, I doubt Giannis. It would be a free agent.
To be clear, you'd have to give up way more.
Yeah,
I don't think the Bulls have enough assets.
Yeah.
Even if the Bucks were open to doing it to be in the sweepstakes.
You could give them 3 unprotected firsts of your own now, though, which could be enticing for Milwaukee.
But who's like the best player they could attach? Kobe White?
Kobe.
Or Bazelis?
Yeah.
Honestly. White, Bazelis, 3 unprotected firsts and
Patrick
salary filler.
Williams, Vooch.
I mean,
there's a
you
way
would obviously do that.
Yeah.
Giannis is what, 29? It's not like he's done.
Yeah,
he's got a good 5-6 years left.
We love Modest around here, but if it's Giannis on the table,
Modest,
we'll be seeing you.
Good, have fun with Doc.
Yeah.
Here's our super chat menu. All super chats get on the show. $5. We'll talk about your favorite team. $10. I'll crack a happy dad. I'm sure we've gotten a few 10s and dropping drinking apparatuses over here like I'm Tyler Jones. $20, we'll spin the roulette wheel, and then $50. If you want to see Seeps and I race, he'll probably take me to the woodshed like Pelinka did Nico Harrison, but we can make that happen. All right, 9.5 trades. What are we at, about 5?
4, 5, Monterey, I think.
If we're starting with Davion Mitchell, how many since then?
So we had Nurkic. We're at 4 trades.
We're trending. 9.5 is a good number.
9.5 was a great line
You'll get a few in the last 20 minutes that are just like pick swaps and just garbage trades, and then you might get one more significant trade. Mark Spears says that the Pelicans are expected to keep Zion Williamson and C.J. McCollum. So
that's a terrible organization.
Yeah, but like if you trade BI, are you trading everyone?
If I were them, I would have some self-awareness here. This core is not getting it done. Try the reset.
I never understood the CJ move.
Yeah, and also, we were talking about Atlanta earlier. The Spurs. I'm pretty sure the Spurs have Atlanta's unprotected first-round pick for next season.
Oh, God.
And if they're getting rid of Hunter, Jalen Johnson out for the year, Spurs.
Could they get flag? I mean, the league might
There's a chance.
The league might cease to. Is this going to become baseball where it's literally just going to be the Lakers, the Spurs, and like 3 other teams?
Yeah,
like that's going to be kind of how it was before the last. Because like the NBA, what I've actually kind of liked about it the last several years, I know it doesn't necessarily. It's not great for ratings, but like every year it's like there's like 8 teams that can win it.
Yeah.
Like before that, it was like either LeBron or the Warriors, or the Spurs or the Heat.
Fox, Flag, Wemby, core. You're right there with the Thunder then. I mean, you're right up there for the next 10 years.
I mean, Popovich might get a heart transplant if needed, if that happens.
Anything to extend his
coaching
life.
career. Yeah. he might go a full Hugh Freestyle and coach from the booth.
That would be hilarious. Yes. He just zooms in. A coach wears a GoPro on
just zooms into the video board.
Yeah.
All right, hit that sub button. We're here through the trade deadline. We'll have trade deadline winners and losers coming up once the deadline passes as well. So rock and roll with us here on Chat Sports as we cover the NFL, the NBA, college football here on a daily basis. Obviously, we've got the Super Bowl coming up. We'll have a Super Bowl live watch party for those interested in that. On Sunday, it'll be Jeff Cooperstein producing along with Jack Sperry hosting, and plenty more to come. So rock and roll with us here on Chat Sports.
Yeah, Callie also saying the Vooch trade market is currently flatlined.
Just dead. Yeah.
Oh, Voochie Main.
Why did they re-sign him?
Why did they do a lot of things?
This was the first trade today. Davion Mitchell to the Heat for P.J. Tucker, second-round pick, and cash. Still don't really know what happened here. It kind of just feels like, is this maybe a luxury tax play for Milwaukee? Kind of like what Boston did with Jaden Springer. Just save some money there to move Patrick Baldwin. The Hornets, this was another I guess the Hornets get it first, so I don't mind it, but Nurkic, I wonder if that's part of the locker room drama, by the way, getting Nurkic out maybe helps. Cody
Honestly,
Martin.
I think the drama is Beal. Hey, waive your freaking no-trade clause, dude.
The mistake
Help
is,
us out.
look, Bradley Beal, nice career, I get all that. Why is a player of his caliber one of the only 2 trade clauses in the NBA? I mean, there should actually be some sort of accomplishment standard to even be eligible. Yeah, if you've either been in the league for 15 years or you've been a All-NBA player at least the first team 3 times. Bradley Beal is
I know us Bulls fans used to complain about Levine's contract. Beal's is 10 times worse.
Dude, he's terrible.
And also he stinks.
He's just not good. I mean, he's inefficient and he doesn't play defense.
Yeah.
So DeAndre Hunter to the Cavs. That was the most recent one for Karis LeVert, George Niang, and draft compensation. Compensation. We'll figure out compensation. What the hell am I saying? We'll figure out what that looks like. All right, Sieps, you want to tell the fine folks why Prize Picks is the best daily fantasy sports app that exists?
It is the best daily fantasy sports app out there. And if you guys download the app today and plug in that promo code CONS, you guys will get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Give them a look. Download the app today. Plug in that promo code CONS and get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Now, what is Prize Picks? Well, it's the best place to get real money sports action. They have over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. And with the big game this Sunday between the Chiefs and the Eagles, they're hooking you guys up with pretty much one free win, one free pick, where one Patrick Mahomes passing yard will get you a win on PrizePicks this weekend. So make sure you guys include that in all lineups for the big game between the Chiefs and the Eagles. Take advantage of it, but massive shout out to PrizePicks for hooking it up with that one. And they're also hooking you guys up with $50 instantly if you plug in promo code CLNS after you play your first $5 lineup. So download the app today. Use that code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. But massive shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring today's show. PrizePicks, run your game.
All right, Matt Clark, Nets, Cam Johnson, Claxton, anyone. We kind of wondered if Claxton to the Lakers would make sense, but obviously once they got Mark Williams, that was dead. The Nets feel like a team just without any sort of direction. Like if I were them, I'd be trying to trade everybody.
Yeah.
Like you trade. I kind of thought that's what they were going to do when they traded Finney-Smith. Like I thought they'd just buy D'Lo out and start just shipping people out. Cam Johnson, Nick Claxton. Like if you want to keep one or two of the young guys, like Cam Thomas, sure, but like
Cam Johnson should be dealt.
Yeah,
I know he's a winning. Like he's a great player.
He doesn't help that. Like
he deserves to be on a winning team.
By the time they're relevant, he's probably past his prime. Like they're 3, 4, 5 years away from even being somewhat good, and that's if they hit on a lot of picks. So yeah, they need to.
Shockingly, that they have not made any moves here. I thought they would have just sold whatever they could get.
There really hadn't even been buzz either. Like,
no buzz.
There's been no reporting that these guys are going to be on the move, so I don't really know what they're trying to do. Obviously, this trade deadline really began with this move when the Mavericks shockingly traded Luka Doncic to the Lakers. By the way, side note here, Seeps, both Luka and Anthony Davis set to make their debuts with their new teams on Saturday. The Mavericks will play the Rockets at home. The Lakers will play – who are they playing?
Let me look this up here real quick.
I know they play Saturday as well, and I think it's at home. So I know ESPN moved that Lakers game to no, I think that's tonight.
No, that's tonight.
The Lakers play the Warriors tonight.
Saturday
but Luka's
at 3,
Saturday.
they play the Pacers.
They play the Pacers, and they've added that to their TV schedule. So Luka's debut will be on TV against the Pacers. You know Turner was begging the Lakers to get Luka ready for tonight.
Oh, God, yeah.
I mean, Lakers-Warriors tonight. Would that be the most watched regular season game this year?
I mean, if you
got Steph and LeBron already always get you ratings, but you had Luka's Lakers debut.
If Jimmy somehow was able to play, I mean, yeah, that would be that would be up there, no doubt.
Is this the most insane trade ever? Yes or no? What do you guys think?
I'm gonna have to go yes here.
I think it is.
There's no doubt.
I still don't believe it. It's 5 days.
Yeah.
I mean,
Luka was on the bench 2 nights ago, and I still don't believe that he's a Laker.
Yeah, he's literally doing like all the Lakers like social team stuff, and I still don't believe it.
Also, the one thing about trading Luka, let's just say, like Nico's right, and Luka's out of shape. You know, has a drinking problem, whatever. You trading him, I think, has pretty much made that not possible. Because I think you put the biggest chip on his shoulder in history. Like, even if you thought that was the case, trading him to the Lakers, especially with frickin' LeBron. I'm a big product of your environment guy. The people around you make you somewhat of who you are.
Yeah.
The fact that he is going to have LeBron in his ear for at least this half the season.
I mean, think about I know we've talked about this a lot, but I still think it's the biggest news in the sports world over the last week, and probably will be for a while, other than the Super Bowl. Think about what Nico Harrison did. He just bet against Luka Doncic at 25 years old.
Who's a feisty competitor, too.
He's a proven playoff performer. He, I think, is the most gifted offensive player in the league. You could debate Jokic, but I think when he's fully right and he's getting downhill and he's working defenders on his hip, like, you can't stop him. I just can't believe that 8 months after this guy taking you to the finals, you would just punt at 25. Look, if he's 32 and it's kind of been this rocky, like he's never fully committed to his conditioning. They've never been back to the finals. Okay, that's a different story. He's 25. Most people in NBA circles would tell you that an NBA player's prime years are about 27 to 32.
Yep.
That's kind of the 5-year window. So he's already a Hall of Famer if he retires today, and by NBA historical standards, he hasn't even hit his prime yet, and you got rid of him.
Yeah.
And you're banking on two players who are exiting that window. Kyrie's about to turn 33, Anthony Davis about to turn 32, to deliver you a title in the next 2 to 3 years. And most fans would argue one title probably doesn't justify this because, let's be honest, I will bank on Luka winning at least a title with the Lakers.
Yes.
And I think if you could put a bet in front of me right now, will he win multiple or zero for the rest of his career?
I bet on multiple.
I would bet a lot of money on multiple.
Yeah.
Because he's just that good. Players that talented, they end up getting one.
And
like this is not like Chris Paul going through a career and never getting a title. He is significantly more talented and gifted than Chris Paul. Like, he will win a title, probably multiple, especially considering he's with the Los Angeles Lakers.
About the conditioning thing, Harry, I'm going to ask you a question. Who do you think played the most minutes per game in the NBA last season?
Well, I know the answer is Luka, but he also played the most games because if you add in the Slovenian Olympic qualifiers, he played over 100 games last year.
Yeah, and I'll take Russillo's quote on this. I don't care if he's smoking cigarettes walking up the basketball court. I'm keeping him on my basketball team. I mean, you just think about
They're acting like this is a Zion situation.
Or an Embiid situation. It's still ludicrous. It kind of gets me fired up. Like, it gets me pissed off thinking about it.
It pisses me off, dude.
But then also, like, I'm thinking about that shot he had over Gobert. I was out in a bar in Dallas, and it was dead silent. Everybody's glued to the TV. And it was like one of the coolest
They traded that guy
moments.
8 months later.
8 months later.
How fucking insane is that?
The city erupted during that Western Conference Finals. It's
games played in Luka's career, by the way, for he misses so much time. Rookie year, 72 games. Second year, which was the COVID year, 61 games, which I think they played 66. So basically the whole season.
Mm-hmm.
Year after, 72-game season, he played 66. Year after that, 65, and 66 the next two. So missed some time, but like, to me in today's NBA, if you're playing 65 plus, last year he played 70 and then the whole playoff run and the Slovenian games in the offseason. This year's the first time where he's missed somewhat notable time. So the first year he misses somewhat notable time, you're done at 25. And the Sixers are still banking on Embiid. Still. Also, you know why? Because when you find a talent of that caliber, you write it out as long as you can. I think the Sixers at this point, they've reached the point where it's like, if you could move them, you could make that argument. Yeah. You're nowhere close to that with Luka. Nowhere close to that.
And also the hymn about like, he drinks too much hookah. Greatest basketball player of all time, Michael Jordan. It's not like he treated his body like a temple here. He was cigars, going to the casino late at night, so I don't know.
Well, the good news is they brought in a guy who's been the epitome of health and never has had injury concerns. And look, I'm not trying to piss on AD because I like AD. I think when he's fully healthy, he's top 6-ish player in the league. He's unbelievable.
He can be the best player on a court.
If you told me the same trade happened, but it was Kyrie instead, I'd be like, that kind of sucks. I kind of started to fall for Kyrie because he's been a great dude since he came to Dallas, which no one saw coming. But I get that, pairing Luka with AD. I don't get this at all.
Bryce, we'll get to the Super Chat in a second. Other sports news here. Canelo Alvarez and Jake Paul have agreed to a fight.
So does that mean
Holy shit.
So does that mean the Paul brother fight is off?
Yeah, that was another promotion.
That was never a thing.
So it was fake news?
Canelo and Jake
I will
Paul,
say this.
that will be because that's a real
that's what I was going to say. I will say this. After the Mayweather fight, I said, if he does not fight someone real next, the credibility is completely shot. It's like, dude, we know you know how to make money. Kudos to you. Hey, I respect the hustle. But, like, can you fight someone real? I wasn't even expecting Canelo. Like, how about a top 15 current boxer?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Canelo's, is he still, I don't follow boxing that close, but, like, he's got to be at least close to the peak of his power still.
Yeah, a little out of it.
Maybe a little out of his prime. Like, this is a real fight.
He's pretty much Braun this year. Like, he's still got it when he wants to turn it back on.
The question is, has he been bought here? Like, is he going to die?
Canelo?
Because I think Tyson's too old anyway, but, like, I do think there's some evidence that he just dove for the money.
Yeah.
Like, there's some, like...
And he also stopped swinging on Jake Paul halfway through.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He just stopped. Is Canelo actually going to fight him? That's what I want to know.
I hope he does, man. I hope he does. That'll be awesome. But Bryce coming in saying, thoughts on the tinfoil hat theory about the new Mavericks owners trading him because of the Vegas casino move. Harry, I think you would know more on this theory.
So the Vegas thing has been a theory for a while because, look, I won't pretend to know everything, but the Mavericks' new owners, the Adelsons, who know nothing about basketball. They've never been connected to basketball. Buying the Mavs from Mark Cuban, who's still a minority owner, I think he owns 27% of the team, was purely a business venture. They have had dreams of opening a casino in Texas for a while. Well, Texas is not a legalized sports gambling state.
Yeah.
And it's possible when they bought Seeps that they thought Texas was closer to that, and maybe a year and a half later, they're like, maybe we're not that close. So it's kind of turned into theories of, well, maybe they're just going to move to Vegas. We know Vegas is getting a team at some point. The only question is when, and is it going to be an expansion team? I will say this. The latest reporting suggests it will not be a team. It'll be an expansion team. Like the Mavs or whoever will not relocate to Vegas. But I don't think you can rule it out until Vegas does get a team, given these owners' motives. So here's the only problem I have with that theory, though, and it's twofold. One, it's either they also don't understand business, or two, they're actually not trying to relocate to Vegas.
Yeah.
Trading Luka doesn't help you financially. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're trying to make – because, like, everybody's like, well, maybe they didn't want to pay the $350 million. I get it's a lot of money. But Luka, the international financial impact, the jersey sales, you're going to get less national TV games moving forward. Like,
is AD selling jerseys? AD's a great player.
Not even close to that level. And he's not an international guy.
He's not international.
So like, so they either don't understand business at all, or there's again, I've kind of outlined this on my Twitter. No angle really makes sense for this trade, and I know there's a new theory. Even Cowherd said that he was told by someone that this came straight from ownership. But, like, that's still – it doesn't make sense, though, because, like, it doesn't help them financially. It doesn't help them in relevance of the NBA. It does nothing toward the casino angle of this. So, like,
That's why I will say on all the theories –
until proven otherwise, this was a Nico warpath.
Exactly.
That's my take
This
on
was
it. Ego play.
This is
and if you really look close, he's gotten rid of everybody that was here in the Cuban ownership and the Donnie Nelson GM era. All the trainers, all the staffers, business side, all those people are gone. Dorian Finney-Smith, Luka's best teammate, he's out of here.
Yep.
Couldn't bring Brunson back. Like, everything that has happened has been to wipe clean of before he got there, and Luka was the last piece.
And it's such an ego thing because let's just say the Mavs, hypothetically, they kept Luka, they won the title this year. It's Luka's title. If they win it this year with the moves they made with Anthony Davis,
it's Nico's title.
Yep. I think it's a power play by him. It's an ego thing, and I think that's the worst thing as a GM is to have an ego
about yourself
in the NBA. Yeah, 100%.
You are there to serve the franchise.
Yes.
Not to serve yourself.
You serve your best player too. That would be like number one. If I was a GM and I had Giannis or Jokic, I'm calling them in my office every day. Be like, hey, how can we get better here? How can we get better here? You're pretty much the GM. Like, I know the whole LeBron's the GM thing. People used to give Cleveland a hard time.
Guess what?
I would do the same shit.
It's worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
He's won a title, at least one, everywhere he's been.
This isn't the NFL.
And by the way, the Lakers, right, who are like this storybook franchise, they were willing to take on Luka's training staff immediately.
Yep.
The Mavericks are too good for that, though. Luka, we have our staffers. We don't want your outside trainers. Like, bro.
You cater to these
Do you
stars,
know who
man.
the fuck you are? Like I saw a tweet. It's like, who does Nico think he is? Honestly, who does he think he is? And then a new report came out that he's not in this for the long haul. He doesn't want to be a GM long term. So that lines up perfectly. He's like, well, I'm just going to go with this short-term window of this, even though it makes no sense with Kyrie and AD. And then even if I'm wrong, well, I don't really want to be here long-term anyway, so be it. I'll just screw the entire organization along the way if it didn't work out.
Yep.
Like, it's so bad. Hollywood, sorry if mentioned already, but how much do the Bulls have to spend this offseason and which free agents would be best for the Bulls to sign?
So it's tough to find a good number on this. They got the 6th most cap space though, in the whole
If they
NBA.
could dump Vucevic for expiring deals,
that would get rid of
that'd
21.
free up 20 more million.
Zach Collins, he also 18 million. So if you could somehow reroute him,
Is he back or does he have one more year?
I thought he was gone, but Kevin Huerter has a player option for 17 million. He will opt into that. The Bulls should have money to spend here, but also I don't think this is an off season for Chicago where I would want them. Yes, Zach Collins is on the books for 18 million next year. This isn't the off season for the Bulls where you are going to go big in free agency. I still think that's probably the next summer, not this upcoming one.
Also, that 26 off season is when the cap's really supposed to boom.
And that could be Luka.
And there's a lot of big name players that could be free agents. I would expect most of those get extended before then, but there could be a couple that slip through the cracks.
Yeah, I honestly, the free agents list this upcoming year, I mean, technically Kyrie, but he's got a player option. He'll opt into that, I'm assuming, or just get a new
There's
deal.
also no chance. The Bull, that wouldn't even make sense for the Bulls.
Yeah, it makes no
Sign
sense. Sign
33-year-old Kyrie Irving.
Randall, player option. He's going to opt in. Like, there's not a lot of good free agents out there next season. It could be a dead summer, but we'll see. Also, if you guys could, hit that subscribe button on the Bulls side of things. Closing in on 11,000 subs here. It would be awesome if we could hit that at the end of today's live show. So if you guys haven't already, it's a live sub counter right there. Hit that subscribe button. You guys can see that number go up and help us reach 11,000 subs. We got 470 people in the building right now. So if you guys could help us out, hit that subscribe button today. We'll keep you posted with everything around the Chicago Bulls. So subscribe today. Help us out.
Yeah, let's get Bulls to 11,000, our next milestone over there. Seeps would appreciate it. So would I. Okay, who do you want to see? What do we got here? Okay. Oh, Gambadaro. He's like the Phoenix area NBA insider. Suns won't trade Kevin Durant unless they can get a combination of assets and younger players back. I would expect that could be revisited over the summer. So that's where that sits. Hypothetical, like who?
So they've changed it now. They want younger players, and they're indicating they want to rebuild here. Because originally it was like we want a winning now piece back, like a Draymond.
Well, I think Beal just screwed them. I think they wanted to flip Beal for Jimmy basically in a 3-teamer, and Beal just not letting that no trade clause. I think they're just like, well, maybe we just try to pivot to younger. Who would that even look like? Like who's a team? I don't know. Like let's just bring the Mavericks into it because that was a team that was rumored. I didn't really buy it, but like, do they even have a young piece they could send? Like that didn't even.
Maybe it could be a team like Washington. You give them like Sarr,
well,
Koulibaly.
I mean, Lively.
Like
you could send like P.J. Washington, who's still a young player, Derek Lively, Omax, who some people in the league still really like, and whatever. They still have 3 first-round picks. I mean, it's not a bad offer.
But like, if you're giving up like your young building core for Kevin Durant,
well, they already traded Luka, so what's? I'm actually being serious. It's like if you're convincing yourself you have this 2-3 year window.
Oh yeah. I was talking about like an other NBA team. Like, is KD the guy at this stage in his career where it's like he's turning around for the next 3 seasons? I just don't think that's the case. But on the Mavs side, I mean. Honestly, if you had the chance to go get him, you go get him.
You already went psycho if you're Nico. I mean, you might as well really commit to this 2-3 year window. I mean, so like to me, once you trade Luka, there's no reason to be like, well, we still want to keep this role player. It's like you already killed the 10-year window. Like that's done now. So like your 2 main pieces are going to be good for a couple years here, and that's it. So. All right, who's someone you guys want to see traded before the deadline passes? We got just about 45 minutes or so. What do you guys think?
Oh, Joe Cali just said, not what Bulls fans want to hear with deadline less than an hour away, but told a good amount of calls AK made today were focused on the groundwork for the summer. They need a team to get an itch for that to change in about 50 minutes and counting. So, AK, keep it up, dude. One of the worst front office members in the whole
Spencer
NBA.
Dinwiddie, when asked about the reaction from Mavs fans on the Luka trade, quote, I think it's completely understandable. I think it shows elements in the community. It shows how much the fan base loves him and still loves him. Also, I think if you look at it, the fan base had Dirk for 20 years, and seemingly right when Dirk was ready to retire, they get Dirk 2.0 in a sense. It's understandable. Nobody is mad at the Dallas fans for their reaction. As with anything emotional, you got to give it a chance to process, feel, and live in the moment. I will say this. The players that have spoken have said all the right things. Like Kyrie was like, yep, we're grieving.
Yeah,
I mean, they all like understand. Because it would be, you would almost understand it if you were a player, be like, you know, these fans, none of us want us to win now. Like, that's BS. But, like, that just goes to show kind of how insane it was. It's like even the current players who are trying to win right now are like, yeah, this was kind of crazy. So we get the reaction. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's definitely not staying. I mean, they traded for him, but
he's not
exactly
re-signing that up.
Clay's not coming. James K. Katie to the Rockets for Van Vliet, Whitmore, Reed, and 3 firsts. It's a decent offer. It sounds like Houston wants to give this young core at least one playoff run.
And I don't blame them for.
I would too. They're looking at OKC and they're like, don't sprint before you can run. Like see, to me, I play this year out, see what happens in the playoffs. You lose first, second round, and you're like, yeah, these guys may not be ready. Okay, like you got plenty of assets to make a move next season, so you don't need to rush it. Like Oklahoma City's done it right, and I promise you this: Oklahoma City will be at a crossroads this summer. If they don't at least reach the conference finals, they will make a big trade.
Yep.
Don't you think? Like, if they lose second round.
It would be Jalen Williams trying to get an upgrade there.
Yeah, I think they would keep Chet and
I think Chet's
SGA.
pretty – yeah, Chet and
I think
SGA
those two
to
are
them.
safe, but if Jalen Williams struggles, I could see them trading him. Trucker says Nico would be fired if that was an NFL trade. Nico would have been fired if he even proposed that to Mark Cuban. I promise you that wouldn't, because Cuban understands the business impact of Luka, of just like, because he saw it with Dirk, just the international impact of it. So, I really don't think a trade like that would happen in the NFL. I mean, we've tried to make analogies to it. Like, I think the best one we've heard is like Josh Allen for Stafford.
Yeah, I like it would be like Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson for Mike Evans in a second. Like obviously receivers don't have the impact that star players do, but still
just the value where you're like, you're trading the ascending, still hasn't fully hit his prime superstar receiver for a great player going to the Hall of Fame, but who's probably over the hill. Yeah,
and a second-round pick. I mean,
crazy. All right, hit that like button if you love the NBA. We're 7 likes away from 300 here on Chat Sports. Let's get more likes there and on the Bulls report.
Dead,
so help
dude.
us out.
It's just dead. There's just nothing going on.
Yeah. Kind of sucks. I mean,
I
bet the NBA is kind of pissed that like the day itself.
Everything went down.
Well, it's the Luka through the Jimmy trade. That was the window.
Saturday,
that was
unfortunate.
The window.
I'm just pissed, Vooch. I'm gonna have to watch him on the Bulls for the rest of the year, but that's just me.
Oh, I got to turn this.
Let's re-sign Felicio. Yeah, I'm all right. That 4-year, $32 million deal like 8 years ago was hilarious.
For who?
Cristiano Felicio.
I don't remember his work.
You should not remember him.
Nothing to remember.
4
for 32 8 years ago. That's like,
dude,
that's
shocking.
That's like 4 for 60 now.
He's actually on Brazil's team during the Olympics. Funny enough.
Oh, really? He's still cooking over there?
He is. He's terrible.
Oh, man.
A. saying we are the laughing stock of the NBA. So the team. I hope so, Jerry. Well, in the grand scheme of things, the Bulls are.
I do think for the week it's the Mavs, but like in the grand scheme of the NBA, Chicago's definitely been up there. But
Chicago deserves better, man.
Yes,
Alrighty.
Davion Mitchell to the Miami Heat.
Shout out to that. Was it Baylor? That team with Davion, Jared Butler.
They smoked Gonzaga in the
Awesome.
Natty. I thought Mitchell would be a better pro. He really hadn't done
I did
much.
too.
He can still defend, but he hasn't developed offensively.
So funny. He wears number 45. He's got like the same build as Donovan Mitchell.
No relation.
No relation. Yeah.
PJ Tucker. You know what? If Toronto can't, will PJ Tucker take a step in Canada? Unless he's on a different team playing at the Raptors.
That's a good question.
I'm not making that trip if I'm PJ Tucker. Like it's time.
As Jake Fisher. The Golden State Warriors are the only realistic landing spot for Nikola Vucevic.
Let's go. Let's keep those rumors alive for another 40 minutes.
We got 40 minutes of hope, Bulls fans. Get Vucci Main off.
Is this
the team.
Jake Fisher's redemption story?
I would be the biggest Jake Fisher fan.
If he gets
he
traded
lands this,
to the
yeah.
Warriors? It's effing Vooch.
It's effing Vooch.
That's so good.
Paul Zipser. That's another good name in there.
Oh, man. Patrick Baldwin to the Spurs for and some cash. Nurkic to the Hornets. I don't really know what Charlotte's doing anymore. I guess they get a first-round pick out of it.
But that's also heavy. That was one of the Jazz picks that were like heavily protected.
It's like
that
one of those
turns into
fake
a
firsts.
Second. Yeah, it's all fake.
That's the thing, like, NBA draft picks, like,
I think
unless they're unprotected, they have no value. They really don't. A protected first-round pick in the NBA, what is that in the NFL terms? A fourth? Like, I mean, seriously. Does not matter at all.
I would almost with NBA, like, they would never do it, take protections off picks, but that would be a lot of fun.
Oh, my God.
It'd
be the wild, wild west.
Yeah.
Be like, you want to go all in? Unprotected picks, baby.
Only unprotected picks. It also
you want Vooch? It's going to have to be unprotected.
And also for like the NBA, I think the best part of the league is the barbershop talk of it, and we do have a trade coming up.
Does that get us to 5 today or 6?
You'll get us to 5. Shams coming in here.
Terrence Mann and Bones Highland to the Hawks for Bogdan Bogdanovic. I kind of like that for the clip. Well, how has Mann been this year?
Terrence Mann, I've actually been a fan of him.
Yeah, I think
Mann
so.
Man.
I think Bogdan's the headliner. So we'll get those trade details on screen. Terrence Mann this year is only averaging 6 points per game, which is the second lowest of his career. He's also playing less than 20 minutes, so his role is diminished.
Great defensive guy.
Yeah. Bogdanovic,
second-rounder.
He's averaging 10 a game. He's actually having an awful season. 37% from the field, 30% from 3.
You got these second-round picks flying. 3 seconds.
Second-round picks are UDFAs in the NFL. It's like trading.
It's a 6th or 7th, like best case scenario.
It's like the late round pick swaps in the NFL.
6 for the 7.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like it literally does not matter. So.
All right, that gets us up to 5 trades.
He's having by far the worst year of his career.
He was good for a stretch for the Knicks in that playoff run last year.
No, that's Boyan. Different Bogdanovic.
Oh, that is Boyan.
Is Boyan even in the league anymore?
I have no idea.
He might be cooked.
Yeah.
Yeah, for his career, Bogdan is a 38% three-point shooter, but he's only 30% this year. Maybe with the Clippers, he'll get back on track.
There's a deal.
37 minutes and counting.
Will we have another trade?
Yeah, we'll have one.
Think
At
we'll
least
have one more?
We're not getting to 10.
Not getting to
9.5.
10,
What
yeah.
are we at? 5? 6?
5.
Imagine if like the Luka deal happened on. I don't know what I would have done if
right here.
if it happened when I was live.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could have dealt with it. I'll be honest.
I mean, we would have all had the same reaction. It's fake. We're not talking about it yet.
Dude, I didn't believe it for like
a solid 30 minutes until ESPN put it up.
But even ESPN, the tweet I did not believe. Still, I was like, maybe they got hacked too. Like they got both accounts. And then when they came back from SportsCenter, they were like, we're going to call Shams to make sure he wasn't hacked. Like, I think even their anchors were like, we think this is real.
Yeah.
But it probably took from initial tweet for me to realize it was actually real. I'd say at least 30 minutes.
Yep.
Like, which is a long time. Like, that's not nothing. So there are the full trade details. Bogdan Bogdanovic to the Clippers with 3 seconds. Terrence Mann and Bones Highland coming back to the Hawks.
I feel like Bones has been traded probably 5 times the last 4 years.
I remember the Bones Highland hype train like it was yesterday.
Oh, dude. People are calling him the next Lou Will.
Were you all over Bones? Were you a Bones guy?
I was skeptical. I'm not a big AAU style player fan, and that's what Bones is.
Terrence Mann still has 3 more years on his contract too, at over $15 million. So if you're the Clips, you're unloading that contract.
Oh, we need to send a prayer out there. Golden State, Mike Dunleavy, do the Bulls a solid here. Take Vooch.
Yeah, come on, man.
Jeff Bartlett coming with a $10 super chat on the Bulls side of things. Appreciate you, Jeff.
Whereas Bogdan, he's got 1 year left and then a team option, so it kind of shortens that price tag on the Clippers books by a year. All right, we'll get to that super chat after we talk about Game Time. Shout out to Game Time for sponsoring today's show. You're looking to go watch your favorite teams play, basketball, football, soccer, hockey, whatever the case may be. Do so with the Game Time app. Use the feature Game Time Picks, which will filter out the fluff of thousands of tickets and narrow down your search. One thing I like doing when I'm surfing on Game Time is toggling that feature on within a specific venue for an event, and then you can kind of look at the map like, okay, this is in my price range, this isn't, and then you click on tickets that are, like on the right side of your screen, click one of those teal dots, and then you are able to kind of figure out, okay, these are good seats, I can afford these, I can go from there. Because otherwise you're just scrolling for hours and hours and hours trying to find out the best tickets available. Game Time Picks will narrow down that search. Comedy shows, concerts, music, get out of the house. It's a perfect date night for you fellas out there or ladies who have a significant other. Download the Game Time app today. Use code ChatSports to get $20 off your first purchase only. Terms do apply. Views from the seats, event cancellation policy protection, all kinds of benefits to getting your tickets with Game Time. Check it out today. Download the app. Use our promo code. First purchase only, $20 off with code ChatSports. Terms apply. Last minute tickets. Lowest prices guaranteed.
Big news here. The Washington Wizards reportedly had a trade lined up last season with the Mavericks for Kuzma that would have netted them 2 first.
We knew
Kuzma
that.
Vetoed it.
Kuzma, yeah, we knew that at the time.
Okay, that's not nothing new.
They pivoted to Gafford, which worked out much better.
Yeah.
How stupid do you have to – I mean, I guess a year later, Luka's gone. Maybe you don't feel stupid if you're Kuzma, but –
Well, Kuzma, I think, is a
He's an idiot.
He's an idiot. Like,
he said it.
I would call like it.
I remember him saying something at the time of like, "This is where I want to be," and he may have thrown like something like, "Unless it's like a true title contender situation, and then the Mavs go to the finals."
Yeah.
So
I mean, just the way he dresses, I can say the guy's an idiot. Not a winning basketball player, but
I more so think just him jacking up crazy shots would point to that. Him and Jordan Poole have a lot in common, which is why they were teammates. Oh, man.
Yeah. I thought Jordan Poole was going to be a stud.
I was team Poole for the longest time with him and
Draymond.
I mean, Draymond clocked him.
Yeah.
But then you go to Washington and stink. It's kind of hard to defend you after that.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
Also, there's literally – when there's no – they're basically a G League team. They just like – they're not running sets. Like they're just – it's pickup at the rec center. I miss those days.
Oh, man. Let's see if you got any more updates here.
It is drier than the Sahara right now.
Joe Cali said the
Dude,
Bulls.
he looks like a meme. Look at him. He looks terrible.
Why is he in this?
The orange with that jacket doesn't work either, though. I think if you went white undershirt and just like a navy tie, that jacket's acceptable. He looks like a Halloween character. It's awful. Oh, Richard Jefferson. Is he going to rip his shirt off again?
He's a loser, too. I'm not an
RJ guy.
Funny on social media somewhat, but he's kind of a cornball.
I used to hate when he would call games. Like, you suck at it as an analyst.
Yeah, he wasn't that good. Perkins, they just showed him. He looks like he wants to fall asleep. Get Kendrick out of there.
Kendrick, he's been bored since the Luka trade. Oh, man.
Oh, AK is going to meet with the media after the deadline. That'll be fun.
Yeah, we really like what we did. We extended Lonzo.
You know, the Bulls have made one in-season player trade since 2021. It's the second lowest ahead of that is 8.
That is shocking.
Yeah, it's incredible. They just don't do anything.
And they're a team that needs to be doing stuff.
Yeah, they are. I think they're the worst, like, business side of, like, running a team.
Especially for a big market.
For a big market, they have to be.
It's like, dude,
there.
Stop acting like the Hornets.
Yeah.
I mean, this is if you're gonna act like that, this is what's driven me crazy about the Bears for years, and I'll at least give them credit. They're
swinging big this offseason.
They're at least spending now. Like whether it works or not, they're trying like a real team should. If you're gonna be in a major market and spend like the Bengals or the Hornets.
Or the Kings.
Sell the team.
You are the King.
Sell the team.
Yeah.
You should not. You should not be operating like that. Yes.
And Chicago's a great basketball city, and it makes great high school hoops.
Great sports town in
great
general.
Sports town.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Man. Oh, how about this? A little, since the NBA is so slow right now, you want a little NFL news?
Love it.
Lions, who added Bruce Gradkowski earlier today to their staff. He was the OC for the top XFL offense, I guess. But here's some juice. They are interviewing ex-NFL running back Darren Sproles for a role on their staff. I'll say this. Dan Campbell's a big former players on my staff guy, and it's obviously worked out pretty well. So that would be a pretty interesting fit.
Sham saying teams are still making aggressive calls for Kevin Durant.
Just do it, Phoenix. Give us something.
30 minutes.
Give us something. Bradley Beal is going to have so much fun if they trade Durant. How many shots a game is he going to take? he might. Devin Booker might request a trade this offseason after 2 months of playing with just Bradley Beal. he might say, "I'm out of here."
I wouldn't blame him. Central. It's on something.
Oh man.
Oh my God! It would be such a Bulls move to sell the farm for Kevin Durant.
We have Jake Fisher has the details on those second-round picks for the Bogdan trade. I don't know if we need to add those, but 2025 pick via Minnesota, their own 2027, and then a 2026 pick via Memphis. Second-round protected picks. Give me a break, dude. That one's protected 43 through 60.
Oh, that was just the same thing from earlier about KD.
Oh, nothing new.
So nothing new.
Just do it. Give us something.
Do it for the
Make
league.
the call, Adam. You already did for Luka. Just do it again. Honestly, at this point, just get Durant to the Lakers somehow, so we can at least call it what it is, which is collusion.
Give the NBA credit if you guys can see this. The All-Star jerseys
are they
going to like the old school look? They're sick.
Oh, those are gas. I like the navy ones a little better.
I like those a lot.
I'll say it's been a good week for the NBA. There's no doubt. It's been a good week for the NBA.
Trae Young will be with the Orlando Magic this summer. That'll be another hot take.
New hot take? Okay, what's one
I wrote Trae Young to the Magic this summer. I think it makes a lot of sense. Just took that from Kenny Beecham. I saw that on Twitter.
No, just claim it, bro.
I'll claim it. I'll claim it.
God, it's a good one. What's a hot take?
Players movement.
I don't even think it's a hot take, but like, it feels like Zion could get dealt this summer. It's time.
Yeah, or something, dude.
It's time.
Jeff coming in.
Shout out Jeffy.
Things for Chicago have been stagnant for too long. And shout out to Buzelis. If this is coming out, then trade Terry or Pat. Keep Collins and trade either Jones or Herter. It's one mess into another. Yeah, I mean,
be nice if they could dump Herter because he's so opting into that contract.
Yeah, and Zach Collins too. It'd be sick if you could dump him. Yeah, I mean, Modest looks awesome. Played honestly pretty good last night. Didn't shoot the ball too well, but he's a really, really good defender.
Did they win last night?
No, Anthony Edwards hung 50 on their head. And he was also fishing out that 50 ball. He had 49. He missed like 7 shots when the game was out of reach. But, yeah, Modest looks awesome. He is one of the best. He's actually got the best, like, guarding defensive field goal percentage in the NBA right now. So that's a pretty cool stat for him. He's averaging the most blocks per game for the Bulls. He's a great athlete. He's just super raw. I honestly don't have a comp for him. Like, when I watch him, he kind of reminds me of Tatum. The way he moves, his skill set, but he has a long way to go to develop the same skill that Tatum had. But I'm just hoping the Bulls are patient with this guy. You got to be, and you got to get him more minutes. So
yeah, he needs to be starting the rest of the season.
He should. Last night he did, which was great to see. Shout out to Billy Donovan for finally making that move. But also, speaking about the Bulls, I'm pretty sure we have 9 point guards on the roster right now.
Io, Kobe White. Is Buzelis technically a point guard?
No, he's a forward.
He can handle, though, a little bit.
Oh, yeah. He's got some Scottie Pippen in his game. Lonzo, Giddey, Kobe, Io, Javon Carter. Trey Jones.
Get Javon Carter out.
Oh, I was going to tweet that, actually. I was like, if the Bulls really want to tank for flag. Play Carter 40 minutes a night.
You know he's got 40 in him.
Yeah.
He played
And
under
he comes
Bob
out
Huggins.
chucking.
He played under Bob Huggins, baby. Not only will he play 40, he'll full court press.
Yeah. I'll put up 15 threes a game. He loves chucking.
Make 4 of them.
Yeah. Subscribe to the channel if you guys could, and you guys haven't already. We'll keep you posted with everything around the NBA, college football, NFL, all sports. We got you covered. So subscribe today. We'd appreciate it.
400,000 in our sights. We'll get there Sunday.
Sunday
Super Bowl.
We should be able to get there.
We'll get there Sunday.
25 minutes.
25 minutes, man.
I'm going to run to the restroom real quick. If you want to hold it down,
Yeah,
I'll
I
be
can hold
back
it
in
down.
a sec.
You're good. Who's a third loser? You want to finalize the third loser here?
Yeah, I guess we can.
Are the Suns losers? I think they got to be because they didn't add anything.
Yeah.
Beal not vetoing?
I was going to say, I actually like that. I say you go Suns.
Okay, yeah. All right, you can build those list 3 logo reveals, Joey. If something changes, it's group Slack. So there you go. All right, we can play the game from earlier, Jack. Shout out your favorite team in the chat for the next 30 seconds, and we'll give you all until the 23. We'll go a little longer, 23:30 mark. We will pick a team. We will talk about that favorite team. If you want us to talk about your favorite team, spam it in the chat, and at the 23:30 mark, we will discuss. So let's make that happen. 24 minutes away. 24 minutes away. It's dead last year, too, the day of. Honestly, last year in general wasn't. Well, remember Porzingis a couple years ago got traded on deadline day? But 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The Memphis Grizzlies. Shout out CU Space Cowboy. The Memphis Grizzlies. Coop has them as sellers. I don't know if I'd agree with that. Maybe they're just kind of a stand pat team. Marcus Smart's been a guy that's been potentially talked to get moved, but I think they kind of just stay the course. They haven't all been healthy come playoff time for whatever reason. Obviously, last year went off the rails with Jaw's suspension, but and then his injury. But if Jaw, Desmond Bane, and Jaren Jackson Jr. can all be healthy at the same time come playoff time, I'm intrigued to see what this team can do. A couple years ago, they were the 2 seed and lost to the Warriors in the second round, and then it's gone off the rails a little bit here with Jaw's off-court issues and then the suspension. But they're back in the top 3 in the East, and if they can stay healthy, they've got some good depth. So we'll see what they end up doing. All right, we'll play it again. We'll go until the 21:50 mark. So shout out your favorite team. Shout out your favorite team. And then we will get a shout out and talk about that favorite team. All right, 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. The Pistons. Oh, boy. Timberwolf Taylor. You would have thought he would have said the Timberwolves. The Pistons are the next team we're talking about here. Team status, who knows? Could have gone either way there. Long athletic wing. I'll say this about Detroit. It kind of felt like this is just not going to work with Cade Cunningham, and it's starting to work. I mean, they're clearly still a couple years away from being a true contender, but he's a cornerstone piece. I don't know yet, and I'd love to get Patrick Siepman's thoughts on this as he pops back on. I don't know if Cade will ever get to a point where he can be a number 1 on a title-winning team, but I do think he's taken enough of a step this year where he can at least be a Robin.
I think if
some of the role players are pretty good too. Like Jaden Ivey's had a good year. They've honestly gotten really good production out of Malik Beasley this year.
Yeah, he's been awesome. Honestly, if I was Detroit, I'm trying to build around Cade. Even still got question marks. Can he be the guy to get you over the hump? But I'm putting the best roster around him. Kind of take the Knicks route where you have that guard. Tough to win as your guard being the best player, but you get very athletic wings. You get a big who can score. I am a believer in Cade, but it will be tough if he can be the best option on a championship team. He would be a great two though if you got like a Jokic or a Giannis. Obviously next to him.
This year's definitely been a positive step. I mean, they're in the 7th seed right now in the East. I get the East is diminished, but they were the worst team in the league for 3 years, and now they're. I mean, even if they fall back to earth a little bit, there's at least a good chance they'll be in the play-in. So
30-game losing streak.
If you told me they got into a playoff series this year, that would be a massive accomplishment.
Yeah, we do have another trade.
Oh, so that's 6 or 7.
Might be the most boring trade of the day. Cody Zeller for a 2nd-round pick to the Houston Rockets.
It feels like the Hawks are just shedding cash.
Yeah.
Just trade Trae Young. Get it over with. Rip the cord off. Cody Zeller. I feel like he's 50.
I know. I'm shocked. I didn't even know he's still in the league, if I'm being honest.
I mean, he was at UNC right after Tyler Hansbrough.
Yeah.
I mean,
right after Ty Lawson, Hansbrough days.
He's only 32. He's got another 6 years in him.
I thought he was 38.
Guy was balding at 25.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe he's just looked old for so long.
He's averaging 8 and 6, 52% for the field.
Really?
Player efficiency rating at 16.
Really?
It's kind of balling. Oh, wait a second. Am I looking at the? He is. Oh, okay. I'm an idiot. He's not played in a single game this year.
Okay.
that's his. That is his career stats on reference. Usually the top line it shows you is this year. He has not played in a game this year.
Rockets get Cody Zeller.
He is cooked.
James K. also saying Zion the Pacers for Nembhard, Neesmith, Walker 2 first. I think that would be a terrible deal for Indiana. It would take a chance on Zion, obviously, but I'm a big Neesmith and Nembhard guy. Also still believe in Jarris Walker. I just don't think Zion's worth that. But I like the thought, though. I mean, if Indiana wants to see if they can get over the hump.
I will say, I wouldn't do it either, but a fast break team of Halliburton, Zion.
That would be awesome.
That'd be
That's
fun
actually
to
a good
watch.
point. Yeah,
Imagine
a lot
playing
of fun to
2K
watch.
with that team.
Yeah, it would be sick.
It'd be sick. But yeah, you just can't. You can't trust Zion. For all this, Luka's conditioning. Zion can't stay on the court.
Yeah,
so it's a problem.
tenfold.
It's why they haven't traded him yet, because they can't go to good value for him.
I just can't get over Windy right now.
It's
just his suit, dude.
It's embarrassing.
Who let him out the house? I'm serious. Has he got a wife or something, or a girlfriend? Should have been, dude. What are you wearing?
He lives in Omaha.
Okay.
So did the makeup and
yeah, still
changing
people on
room?
ESPN just said, dude, we got you another suit, man.
Yes, he lives in. So imagine him walking into. Imagine him.
Yes.
Imagine him walking into the makeup room with that suit. If I'm the makeup person, I'm like,
you got to change, buddy.
That's just not going to cut it. And that's just not. I mean, there are 3 colors that are completely.
It's just awful. It's just awful. Honestly, that's been the biggest takeaway from the trade deadline day is how bad Wendy is dressed on the ESPN show.
I'm tweeting this out. Biggest NBA trade deadline loser, parentheses, other than Nico Harrison, is Brian Windhorst and his suit combination today.
Yeah. Halloween on the inside, Easter on the outside. I like that. Oh, that's terrible. And his hair,
I got to get a photo of this. There's got to be a photo on Twitter, right?
Wendy just does not look good. His health doesn't look good. His face, I mean, I hate to bash the guy right now, but
the suit is just horrendous. I mean, there's just no way around it.
I just can't stop looking at it.
Yeah, I do. Compared to the this meme,
we have an update to the Jimmy Butler trade. Dennis Schroeder will be heading to the Detroit Pistons. Lana Ray's had a lot of fun with all this.
So is that a 5th team in the trade? Is that graphic cooked again?
Who knows?
Dennis Schroeder. Maybe that's just a separate. Get Myers off the screen. I'm trying to take a picture. I need more windy.
Come on, Wendy.
I need more windy.
Give me a zoom in right here. You want to pop that up and
Pop the trade up.
yeah, you can just
from
put
what
it
it
in
was.
preview real quick. So let me
Oh,
see it.
windy zoom in.
Come on.
Shit.
So Schroeder heads to the Pistons.
Oh, I missed it by 0.1 second.
I'm guessing. Does
We're
that
back.
take the Jazz out? There we go.
That is.
Yes.
What a timing.
Tweet that out. I can't wait to retweet it.
I'm done. I gotta slack it to myself first. This is just as bad as it
Should we
gets.
add? Whoa. Do we add this to the losers list and throw a photo of this up?
I could send it to you. Though.
Send it to him. That's what we do.
How does what?
I have no idea. Who knows, dude?
Did it get rerouted to Detroit? If it got rerouted, that's probably just a separate trade. Yeah, but so is Utah out of it? Tweet has been fired off.
So it's separate.
Separate trade. So I just put Schroeder to Detroit, TBD back to Utah. How about Schroeder making his strong statements about all the trades and everything, and then he gets traded twice?
Why?
I mean, that is brutal. That is brutal. He might just retire. He might just retire.
Let's go play internet. You're better overseas anyways. Like his game, he's always been great.
He's always good for Germany.
Oh, man. Might have to take a nap here, dude. What's going on?
Oh, man.
The Bulls, one player trade in season.
We
the
should
last
just film
5
winners
seasons.
and losers now.
Seriously. Yeah.
Someone replied to me with "looks good" and then trade Vooch with that windy tweet. Brett
Looks good.
Barnes.
Trade Vooch.
Brett Barnes and his username is Aaron33071912. Thanks, Aaron. All right, Dennis Schroeder to the Pistons.
Breaking news.
It's a good backup point guard for Cade, honestly.
The Grizzlies reportedly made a call for Kevin Durant. That would be interesting. That would have been.
What does
pretty
that
cool.
even look like?
Bane
and picks.
Bane Smart picks. Get to that 50.
What? Bane Smart and like 1 or 2 firsts.
Yeah, that would be a great deal for Memphis. 12 minutes remaining. Yeah, it's a good call.
We've got 12 minutes remaining.
Alrighty.
We've got 1,100 people watching.
All right, we'll get into more trade line talk here in a sec. But first, let me tell you guys about my favorite sponsor here at Chat Sports, and that is Prize Picks. If you guys download the Prize Picks app today, plug in that promo code CLNS, you guys will get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today, plug in that promo code CLNS, get $50 instantly. So what is Prize Picks? Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. They have over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Make sure you run your game all season long on Prize Picks. And speaking of the big game between the Chiefs and the Eagles this Sunday, they got a free pick for you guys where one Patrick Mahomes passing yard will get you 1 win on Prize Picks. So take advantage of this. Put this in all your lineups for the Chiefs-Eagles matchup this Sunday. And, yeah, massive shout out to Prize Picks for hooking it up with that one. And also they're hooking it up with $50 instantly after you use promo code CLNS after you create your first $5 lineup. So download the PrizePicks app today. Plug in promo code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Master shout out to PrizePicks, though, for sponsoring today's show. PrizePicks. Run your game.
Appreciate PrizePicks for sponsoring, as always. Got about, 10 minutes or so? 11?
Yeah, 10 and a half, 10:40.
Y for yes, in for no in the chat, guys. Will another trade come in? Y for yes, in for no.
I hope so.
Are we up to 6 or 7?
7?
10's not completely dead, but I don't think we're getting 3 more. I don't think we're getting 3 more.
This is
I can't get over this windy suit, man.
it's
It's so bad, dude.
poor Wendy.
Get some shout-outs here.
Oh, so they're even saying PJ Tucker's not even going to get bought out. I was going to say, is that buyout candidates video? I mean, that's going to be like 5 guys.
Ben Simmons.
Is he going to get bought out?
It's a candidate.
Candidate,
You can still
yeah.
mention Tucker as a candidate.
Oh, yeah, we're doing buyout candidate.
It's not like for sure buyouts. PH Ma says no. Robert says no. Umo says yes. Imran says yes. Scott Baswell says yes. You guys are cute. Thank you, Zishan. Mateo says yes. Jamal says no.
God, Vooch is still going to be on the Bulls. I can't believe it.
Do we have those graphs ready so we can jump in when we're ready for this cut?
So we're just doing winners and losers live buyout.
Oh,
out.
Jake Fisher says it's going to be KJ Martin, Josh Richardson, and a 2028 second from Detroit to Utah. So that's going back for Dennis Schroeder. KJ Martin, Josh Richardson, and a 2028 second-round pick.
Casey Johnson. Plenty of trade talks around Nikola Vucevic. However, this would be an off-season move. Good stuff, man.
It's always the next deadline or date.
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
Bulls.
It's always.
We'll do it this summer.
Yeah.
We'll do it next trade deadline.
The Wizards have
Jake
waived
Fisher.
Reggie Jackson. If you want to add that to the buyout candidates. Outside. Gotcha.
They're what's the tweet?
They waived Reggie Jackson.
Oh, so he's already. It's not even a buy. He just got cut. We could include that in that video, though. Josh Richardson. I mean, how many times has that guy been traded? That does have to be exhausting being a role player in the NBA. You get traded like every year.
Yeah,
I
seriously.
mean, every freaking year.
Joe Cali said the offers were underwhelming and the Bulls front office doesn't think they can drop more than a few spots in the standings with or without Vooch. They feel he will bring in more value this summer.
They love to play him, dude.
They're just so stupid.
Tank for the flag sweepstakes, and if you don't get him, you'll get someone else. It's a good draft.
Yeah. This is so dumb.
Your blood's boiling over there.
Nikola Vucevic survives yet again. I don't know what this guy has on Karnasovas.
Dude, they might extend him this offseason. Would you rule it out?
No, not at all. They might give him the max.
We want him to retire a Bull. The max.
This is embarrassing.
Lordy. You replied, biggest loser. Someone replied, looks like he's auditioning for an OKC TV announcer job.
Yeah.
That blue doesn't. Yeah, I guess the blue does kind of fit. Kendrick Perkins says he was the real leader of the Thunder. Thanks for that update, NBA Central. That couldn't wait until 4 o'clock. Don't tweet if there's no trade juice. All right, how about the Super Bowl, man? A little Super Bowl talk?
I'm going to roll with the Chiefs.
Yeah, the Chiefs are winning.
Yeah,
If they can get
for
pressure on Jalen Hurts, it's GG's in the chat.
Yeah, I'm also rooting for Kansas City.
3-peat. I kind of like. I know everybody's
We'll be
tired of the
live.
Chiefs. I kind of want the 3-peat and then them to lose early next year, like lose in the divisional round next year.
I wonder if Mahomes pulls a Jordan. Or retires for 2 years, be like, hey, I three-peated. Let me just take some time off my body.
Yeah, it's happening. Buckle up
done,
over there.
dude.
Brady's trying to add to his
My,
legacy by hiring Pete Carroll.
My tinfoil hat is Brady, knowing the competitor he is. Mahomes three-peats. There's going to be a rumor he's going to try to get back in the league.
Play
Get out
for
of
the Raiders.
contract. Yeah.
They're going to admit when they can't get when Shador gets drafted and they can't get somebody, Brady's like,
you know what?
I'll just suit up.
Go play Mahomes twice. Oh, man.
Which rumor is more likely to hit this offseason? Brady playing again or teams need to work out Kaepernick?
I think that's got it. I think
that's actually over.
Yeah.
He's been out of the league, I think it's 8 years now.
They're showing that lineup for the Lakers. Be able to guard three creators, all big.
What's their bench looking like?
Got Vincent, Shake Milton.
They need Vincent to like
DFS off the bench still.
Are we
Jackson
sure
Hayes.
Dodo's not going to start? Finney Smith?
Yeah.
Him or Vanderbilt, I guess.
Maybe you can roll LeBron to the 4.
Yeah.
Oh, ho, ho.
Marcus Smart to the
Smart. What?
What are the Wizards doing? Shams.
And a first-round pick. Wait, this is a multiple-team trade. The Memphis Grizzlies are trading Marcus
Is Durant
Smart
involved?
and a 20. Well, why are they giving up a first-round pick? Who are they getting back? They're getting somebody back in this.
Is
that is
Durant involved?
I mean, this
There's
has to
no
be
way.
substantial here. If you're moving off Smart and a first,
Who does Washington even have?
that would be 2025. Smart and a 2025 first to the Wizards in a multiple team deal that sends 2 second-round picks to Memphis. So
Are they bringing in Middleton? Is he worth a first?
that's probably it. We're also getting 2 seconds
It's
back.
not-
So it's like,
Or is it Brogdon? But I'm not giving up Smart and a first for Brogdon.
you want to – maybe they're talking about it. I don't know. And we also got another one here.
I think we're going to hit 10 trades because the
Well, we
Clippers just
did.
made a move.
I think that's 9.
That's 9. Kevin Porter Jr. to the Bucks for Marjon Beauchamp.
At the buzzer. Come on, AK. Make it happen.
Will the Bulls be the third team in the deal?
So what is
Bobby Mark says Ben Simmons is a name to watch in the buyout market. The Cavs and Rockets are teams to watch.
Wow. Yeah.
For
This
what we
is-
know.
Yeah, this is all we know
all
now.
we know. There's it
A
sounds
third
like
team's
there's
involved.
It sounds like another team's in the mix. It's clearly not KD because that would have leaked out.
Yeah.
Chris Haynes had the Kevin Porter, the Clippers trade. All right, let's see what Shams is saying here. Kevin Durant not getting traded per Shams. Shams saying more teams called today. They want to give it a go the second half of the season. So Durant will not get traded.
So Smart going to Washington and a first. Grizzlies. I mean, I'm guessing it's Middleton or Brogdon. But I feel like that would have came out.
What's that?
I'm assuming it's Middleton or Brogdon.
Yeah.
Because this trade doesn't make sense. I mean, the third team.
That's, yeah. The Kings are getting Jake LaRavia from Memphis.
The fuck?
That's 10?
Yeah.
Or is that the
that's
third
gonna
team?
be the.
Is that the third team in the deal, the Kings? Jake LaRavia to Sacramento?
Pretty sure he's actually having a good year.
He kind of sucked his first couple years.
So what is?
Jake LaRavia this year,
Maybe it's. Oh,
44% from 3,
it's a decent season.
49% from the field, 21 minutes. Definitely the most efficient year of his career.
So the Grizzlies just gave up Smart,
Smart and Laravia. Is this a luxury tax play?
Yeah.
For them? There's got to be more to that trade.
Has to be.
Be on the lookout with that Sacramento note. So still trying to get final details here. We know Marcus Smart is going to Washington. Jake LaRavia to Sacramento. What is Memphis getting? Because they also shipped out a first. Are they willing to ship out a first just for a luxury tax bill?
I don't think so. 5. That's on their side. 6, 5.
So the deadline's passing here. We know things trickle in a few minutes after.
Happy New Year. Oh.
Unless there's something weird with this trade.
Yeah.
Why are we talking about Fox to San Antonio when we don't have final details of this trade?
Yeah. Unless it is.
Wake up, ESPN. Grade the trade deadline, ABC, DRF.
Vooch is a bull. Can't believe it.
James Wiseman to the Raptors as well from Indiana. Plus Colby Jones.
Colby. Xavier guy.
All right, we're trying to get caught up on the trade details here, guys. We'll pass it along when we just get a sec. Sham, what do you make of James Wiseman to the Raptors? I mean, is he just nothing at this point?
He's just nothing.
Toronto. I mean, what are they doing?
Toronto is.
Little BI Wiseman.
BI Wiseman, RJ Barrett, and Emmanuel Quickly.
Get all the what could have been players on the same roster.
Good stuff, Bulls. Good stuff.
Oh, man.
You acquired Trey Jones, Kevin Huerter, and Zach Collins.
More bad contracts. Maybe they're just trying to line up their books where they just have as much free cash in 2026. Because all those guys are off the books by then. So is Vooch, but it's underwhelming.
It's
underwhelming.
Content is going to be a doom.
Yeah. Have fun on Jets.
One a week.
Yeah.
We're back to the podcast.
We're filling those podcast requirements.
Yep.
One a week, baby. Chris Haynes says Warriors are done with trades. When you sign off on live today, we'll see you guys in the play-in tournament.
We'll see you in Atlanta.
Our annual live watch party. We'll see you guys in the play-in tournament.
Oh, man.
Holy smokes. You didn't even do opening night this year, did you? So last one was the play-in?
Oh, yeah, last game was a plan.
You can make the thumbnail now. It'll be Bulls and Hawks.
Bulls and Hawks.
It's just the same one from last year.
I might. Kobe will have 40. We'll lose to the Heat. Same shit.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. And they're already getting. Yes. So do I just say Marcus Smart, Colby Jones?
All right, coming up in a few minutes, we got NBA trade deadline winners and losers. Our producers are scrambling like Michael Vick behind the scenes, trying to figure out these trades. Who was it during the NFL draft a couple years ago that no one knew what they were saying? Oh, no, it's Field Yates with the picks. Remember?
Yes,
he's always he's always, I can't think of an example.
No,
but
I remember what you're talking
he's
about.
He's atrocious when it comes to knowing who got what.
I mean, the way Mark tweeted this out, the Kings are sending a 2028 second to Memphis, plus Kobe Jones and Alex Len to Washington to acquire Grizzlies. Jake LaRavia.
Jake LaRavia to the Kings sounds like the
part of the smart trade. This makes sense.
The main.
I think this is what it is. I think this is what it is.
I find this hard to believe, though. I agree with you. I think
that's how it's worded.
Jones going to Memphis? That's like the way
That's not even enough money, though, even if it is him.
And why would the Grizzlies give up Smart,
I'm telling you,
and
plus, the Kings are sending second round to Memphis plus Kobe Jones and Alex Len to Washington. So Memphis is getting
Memphis is getting Kobe Jones.
That's not how it's like punctuated, though.
Yeah.
Stein, you bring
Fisher.
Fisher is an anchor. He is an anchor.
You're a product of your environment.
Yeah.
You bring
it's a head coach GM league.
Yep.
You get Fisher as your GM, you're cooked.
Yeah.
It's like Nico and the Mavs. You're absolutely cooked.
Oh, man.
What is Colby Jones making?
He's on a rookie deal. He's a second-round pick.
But, Smart makes real money. So I guess the Wizards are saying, give us a first, and we'll just take that contract
we'll just take
on.
the contract. Smart's probably going to get bought out. Oh, we'll talk about that
add
after.
him to the. You can add the whole Wizards roster. Brogdon. Middleton.
I could see Smart going to the Bay.
Ooh, I like that. Oh, dude, Smitty or Barefoot should hit on Celtics. Bring him back.
Bring back 100%.
What's his name would love it? Brad Stevens.
I don't even know what the Bulls video is.
Huh?
What's the Bulls video?
I
kind of wanted to headline it. The Chicago Bulls do nothing yet again.
Yes.
And just talk about it for 10 minutes.
Or just like the Chicago Bulls are a disaster once again.
Yeah, the Chicago Bulls are a joke.
Disaster. All right, let's when these trades are finalized, let's get into this cut. Yeah, it's over. It's over. So Colby Jones is going to Washington. You're a product of your environment, Seeps.
Frickin' Fisher rubbing off on him.
By the way,
Pause, but
people consider, did Fisher get a single thing right? Remember when he brought up the Durant stuff? I get they took calls, but once again, has he broken a single trade? No.
No, I think he's over.
He's had a couple these are the second round picks.
Yeah.
That's Stein handing him breadcrumbs. He's like, I got a tweet. I'm getting more info. You could take the second round pick details, Jake. He's like his intern.
Yeah, he is like his intern.
He is Stein's intern.
Yeah.
I swear.
He just gets his name put on there.
Well, dude, now Stein, will be like, here's the latest NBA trade deadline scoop with Jake Fisher and me. It's like,
it's all you, bro. It's all you.
Yes. He's his intern.
Chicago Bulls fans, I would like to apologize.
Stein just tweeted that the Warriors made a run at Vooch, and the Bulls wouldn't trade him.
It's just daggers right there. Daggers.
Teams could not agree on a trade. Ian Begley says the Mavericks were aggressive trying to get Kevin Durant. Sorry, Nico. Sucks to suck, buddy. Sucks to suck.
Biggest loser, Bulls fans. Yet again. We're the most depressing
number
team.
2. Biggest losers for this deadline.
This deadline's still the Mavs.
A title team traded.
Big picture.
Traded the reason fans watched.
Thank God we're gonna have $60 million in Vooch, Kevin Huerter, and Zach Collins next year. Let's go.
All right, NBA trade deadline recap, winners and losers. It's all coming up next, so stick with us here. and then we will call it a day. Let's get to it here on Chat Sports. He's Patrick Siepman. I'm Harrison Graham. The NBA trade deadline has come and gone, and it is time to react to every single move that have happened in the last 5 days or so, plus hand out some winners and losers for this year's deadline. And there are some big ones on both sides of the spectrum. But before we do that, if you want NBA coverage nonstop, NFL as well, Super Bowl Live Watch Party on Sunday, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications. We got you covered here at Chat Sports, the #1 digital sports network on YouTube. Okay, winners and losers, and we'll recap trades as we go here. I mean, clearly the Lakers see.
No shocker here.
And the Luka trade alone, regardless of what happens this year, they now have someone to pass the torch on from LeBron James to Luka Doncic. And they only had to give up Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and 1 first-round pick to get it done. We'll obviously talk about the Mavericks being on the opposite side of winners of this when we get there. But to pull this off, Seeps, then turn around and get Luka, an emerging young lob threat, and Mark Williams from the Charlotte Hornets. Sure, giving up Connect hurts and an unprotected first, but that's having conviction as a team. That's having conviction as a GM. Like, hey, we're going to get the best superstar available who is somehow available in Luka Doncic, and then we're going to get a piece that pairs with him nicely.
Yeah, I think it was just a great move for the Lakers. I mean, I think it's catapulted them to being the second best team in the Western Conference, just behind the Oklahoma City Thunder. You get a young superstar in Luka, and then you can pair him up with a great lob threat in Mark Williams. I think this is the best move possibly over the last decade in the NBA. Got to give credit to Rob Pelinka and also the Mark Williams move, but I cannot wait to see how Luka and LeBron are going to play with each other. I know a lot of people have concerns. Can they fit on the basketball court with each other? I think LeBron will be a great off-ball player. It's going to be Luka's team, and just the Mark Williams trade, Harry, like you just cater to what Luka does well. Run that pick and roll. And then you could just go.
Yeah, when Luka gets that defender on his hip, when he's getting downhill, he's impossible to defend when you have an elite lob threat, because what teams have to do is either take their chances one-on-one with Luka, he's going to score more times than not, or the big sags over and you throw the lob, or a weak side defender crashes and you pass to the corner, because you can't defend him one-on-one. Now that you have the lob threat in L.A., because you didn't really have that before, Jackson Hayes will do it a little bit as well, but now you got 2 guys who can do it. That's going to make that offense really potent. Defense could struggle some, but I'm excited to see. I say I'm excited. I'm intrigued to see how Luka and LeBron play together.
And honestly, I think the Spurs acquiring De'Aaron Fox, I honestly think this move is getting underappreciated just because of the Luka trade and how big that was, but I couldn't imagine a better point guard to pair up with Victor Wembanyama, a hyper athlete in Fox. I think he's a borderline top 20, top 25 player in the NBA, still a young guy. And I think the Spurs are going to make some noise in the playoffs this season. Outside chance to make the finals, not a good chance, but you're going to get Wemby some good playoff experience, which I think will be huge for his development. And plus, these guys, they're just going to keep on getting better every single year here. So I thought the Spurs picking up Fox, fantastic move.
Yeah, I think Fox is still ascending as a player. Playing with Wemby is only going to elevate him. I mean, he 13 assists in his first game. This is a guy who's like a career 6 to 7 assists a game guy. I think it'll make him an even better facilitator than he's ever been. He doesn't need to feel the pressure to score 30 every night like he did in Sacramento. Love the move for San Antonio. They've got their dynamic duo for the foreseeable future. And they didn't have to give up Stephon Castle in the trade, which is big as well. Yeah. The Golden State Warriors, I think less so than the Lakers and Spurs, Seeps, but as long as Steph is playing, I think you have to go for it. And they tried to get Kevin Durant. They had a construction of a trade done, and Durant shut it down. He did not want to go back to Golden State. So you give them credit for that. It's not their fault that Durant didn't want to go back. And then you pivot to Jimmy, who obviously he could be tough to deal with, but he's a proven playoff performer. He gives them more edginess on defense. Can he get back to being a dominant offensive player in the playoffs? We'll see.
Yep.
I don't know how the fit's going to work, Seeps, but I think they get credit for taking a swing here because, Steph has done so much for that team, and he's still playing at a high level. I think you have to go for it. Wasting seasons at this point is just counterproductive.
Yeah, honestly, I think the Warriors front office handled this very well. You tried to swing big for Kevin Durant. he didn't want to come to your organization again. So then you pivoted to Jimmy Butler. And, the fit between Butler and Curry will be interesting. I wonder if their pace will slow down with adding Butler. But, the one negative of Steph Curry, who's, in my opinion, a top 10 player of all time, is that he's not the best at closing games. We just throw him the ball, say, hey, go get a bucket. Well, that's Jimmy Butler. And, maybe I don't think the Warriors have enough around Butler and Curry to make the NBA Finals. They are still a team. If you are Memphis, if you are Houston, you do not want to see these guys in the first round. They are still, they're big game players and a big game coach in Steve Kerr. And maybe I'm undervaluing Butler. Maybe I'm undervaluing Curry. Maybe they can turn back this clock. But I still think it was a good move, but this isn't changing the whole landscape of the Western Conference.
Would I bet on it working at a high level? Probably not. Am I fascinated to see if it works? Yes.
Yes.
Because they are going to have to drastically change how they play with Jimmy Butler. So it's going to be interesting. Also, a note came in on the Warriors. They tried to get Nikola Vucevic as well. Could not come to an agreement with the Bulls. I know that makes Patrick Siepman super excited. We can kind of throw them in as a trade deadline loser if you want as well verbally. Yeah. I don't think we wrote them in, but yeah, if I'm the Bulls, I would have probably pulled the trigger there. Okay, favorite or biggest trade deadline winner? I think it's the Lakers and just Rob Pelinka. I mean, seriously. I think it's you got to give credit where it's due. Obviously, when Nico Harrison approaches you, you don't get all the credit when something like that falls into your lap. But it sounds like he worked down Nico to lower the trade back for the Mavericks, which is kind of amazing when you think about it. But
I also think with what you were saying at the Spurs, not having to give up Castle or Devin Vassell.
Really good job.
I mean, I was watching them last night against the Hawks. They are a fun basketball team to watch. So, Spurs, Lakers, at least for me, by far the two biggest winners.
We are sponsored by Prize Picks. We'll get to some trade deadline losers in a second, but get in on all the fun action. You got the big game coming up. Obviously, second half of the basketball season ramping up as well, and just plenty of sports going on. Baseball around the corner, soccer, hockey in action. And what PrizePicks is a daily fantasy sports app where you set lineups of 2 or more players regardless of sport. You can cross over your sports in your lineups. You could have a football player, a basketball player, a soccer player, all in the same lineup. All you do is pick more or less on certain stat projections that are available from PrizePicks. And if you hit, you win. You win money. Billions of dollars in earned winnings already given out by PrizePicks and plenty more to come. 10 million customers and counting. You should be one of them. You got a freebie for the big game, a free win. Patrick Mahomes, half a passing yard. I'm a big player of 2-player lineups, so you're already halfway home with this one. You pair this with another one you really like and feel confident about, easy chance to win some money. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Our code CLNS for you new customers is going to get you a $50 bonus when you set your first lineup of just $5. Doesn't matter if you win or lose that $5 lineup. You are going to get an additional $50 to play with. Check out PrizePicks today. We appreciate them for sponsoring Chat Sports. Okay, trade deadline losers. I mean, does it really even need to be said?
Yeah.
It's the Dallas Mavericks and more specifically Nico Harrison.
Yeah. And Mavericks fans.
And Mavericks fans, really, I think, are the biggest losers. I can speak as one.
Yeah. Listen, this move here, whether Nico and whether the Mavs, let's just say it does work out and they somehow win a championship here this season, still the process was terrible. You should have created an open market, a bidding war for Luka. You traded a fan favorite, and I'm sure some Mavs fans will, even if they go and win it all this year, I bet you some Mavs fans would have said, I would have rather gone back to the finals and lost than win it this year with Anthony Davis. As crazy as that sounds, but it's definitely a real feeling amongst Mavs fans.
It's one of those emotional things because we as Mavs fans went through it with Dirk, went through the trials, the tribulations. It took him a while, and then he gets that redemption against Miami. We would rather have had that career than what the Spurs had with Tim Duncan. Maybe that's silly, but when a guy becomes yours, it's not like the Lakers where stars come and go. You're always going to have stars with the Lakers, the Celtics, one of these teams. The Mavericks have had 2 true superstars in the history of their organization, Dirk Nowitzki and Luka Doncic. Obviously, Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis are all-time players, but they've bounced around. They're not the Mavericks' own. You do not trade Luka Doncic at 25 years old unless he demands one. And if you do, like Patrick said, You open a bidding war.
Yep.
You don't do it behind closed doors in the shadows, as was reported, because you're scared Luka will find out. Why are you scared if he'll find out? You're already willing to do it.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to do it, stand on business. To do this backwards, back alley, shady shit, it rubs it's so disrespectful to your fans.
And also the thought process of, oh, Luka, you believe he's out of shape. This guy played the most games out of any player in the NBA this past season, considering what he had to do with Sylvania as well. He also went toe-to-toe with one of the best athletes in the NBA, in Anthony Edwards, in the Western Conference Finals, kicked his ass up and down the court for 5 games. So I just don't understand what their thinking is. Like, the process is probably the most frustrating part with this whole deal. You went behind the back of the whole organization, and even the way he was talking about with Jason Kidd saying, oh, Jason was on board, and Kidd's looking at him, just baffled at what he's saying. I just think it's one of the worst moves in NBA history, and I think stupid moves like this will have extreme ramifications. I could go see the Lakers winning it this year, and I would love to get a, little Nico Harrison just still shot of him watching the finals.
And from a business standpoint, just to put a bow on this will cost the Mavericks hundreds of millions of dollars because Luka Doncic is a international icon.
Yep.
So
and also they lost 1 million followers on Instagram.
They already have lost 1 million followers on Instagram. Fans are boycotting their first home game back, which is Anthony Davis's debut, by the way. I feel bad for him. He's supposed to be celebrated. Has nothing to do with him. It's
that's also another loser of this deadline is Anthony Davis because Mavs fans are.
He got blindsided too, and no one's even talking about him. Like, you feel bad for that guy. So it's tough, man. It's tough. I'm fascinated to see how it all plays out. The Sacramento Kings. I just don't really know what they're doing. They made a lot of moves. I'm not sure a single one makes sense. Sure, you get 3 first-round picks, but one of them's pretty much fake.
The Charlotte one will be a second next season.
The Spurs in 2 drafts, they're going to be winning 55 games a year.
At least, yeah.
That'll be like the 30th pick.
Yeah. Timberwolves, I mean, if they still have Anthony Edwards there, they'll
even
still
if
be
not,
fighting.
it's 6 years.
You
were 18 months ago, you were viewed as like this up-and-coming star team, and now you got – who's the best player on their team, both short and long term? Zach LaVine? The Bulls were praying to get him out of there.
Yeah, and listen, you pretty much just replicated what the Bulls have done for the last 4 seasons. And as a Bulls fan, living in that purgatory zone in the NBA is the worst spot to be in. Not good enough to compete, not bad enough to land a top pick in the NBA draft. That's what the Kings are going to be, especially if you consider how loaded the Western Conference is. You go stack your roster up, even if it's like, oh, they got Sabonis, Monk, LaVine, DeRozan, all of these guys. You're not touching any of the top teams
2K,
in the West.
Man.
Yeah, this isn't 2K.
It's just not going to work.
And not even this trade. I just don't get this one either, Harry.
Yeah, what does this do? You have 2 non-defensive centers now in Valanciunas and Sabonis. So I don't get what they're doing.
No.
They somehow had Tyrese Halliburton and De'Aaron Fox at the same time. We all knew they'd have to split them up eventually. I did not think that would mean they would just trade both within 24 months, but that's what's happened here. So
yeah, no, they're just going to be a big tease for their own fans over the next couple of years, and I feel bad for them because I bet you they'll have a run where they rip off, let's just say, 15 of 20 games, but it's still once postseason time comes around, they're not.
And then, what is this trade? Jake LaRavia can shoot the ball, but I don't know how that helps you that much. Yeah. And then the Phoenix Suns, they keep Durant, so I guess that's a win, but they clearly kind of tried to trade him, and he shot it down. Then there's reports of friction in the locker room, and then the biggest reason is Bradley Beal refusing to boycott his or to forego his no trade clause.
Yep.
Pretty much prevented them from doing anything. If he did that, Jimmy Butler would have been in Phoenix, and I think that would be more intriguing than Jimmy Butler in Golden State.
Honestly, the Suns remind me, if you just picked up a random guy off the street who's a common NBA fan and say, hey, you're going to run an NBA team, they would run it like how the Suns have been running it. Overpay for Kevin Durant. Try trading that first-round pick for, or trading the first-round pick for 3 first-round picks that are heavily protected. Just the moves they're making feel so desperate, and sometimes you just need to have some self-awareness. Take your losses. I just don't get what they're doing.
We need a third star with Devin Booker and Kevin Durant.
No, you don't.
Well, no, you don't. It's a 2-star plus good role players league.
Yep.
But if we do, who could we get? Oh, an inefficient, big game playing basically at any point in his career, small non-defensive guard, and Bradley Beal. I mean, when they made that move, I remember saying, this will not work, guaranteed.
And also, like, you would like, if you are going to go with that 3-star mold, you would like your guys to be able to do different things. KD,
they all
Booker,
overlap.
Beal. All the same style, same archetype of player where they're score first. Like, at least, listen, I know we're giving the Mavs a tough time here, but, like, at least they're 2 stars, Kyrie and Anthony Davis. They complement each other very, very well. The Suns, not at all. So I think I think we did a good job here, Harry. These are by far the 3 biggest losers. Could throw the Bulls in there as well.
The Bulls are just losers because they refused to do anything.
Yeah,
and what they did do was take on more contracts through next season.
One of a kind in Chicago.
It's something special, the ownership in that city. Okay, biggest trade deadline loser. I mean, it's Nico Harrison, period, point blank.
Yes.
Until there is proof that this is purely ownership, it's Nico Harrison, and Mavs fans everywhere. I'm standing with you. Tough times, but it is what it is. All right, let's just kind of sprint through some of the other trades that went down. Davion Mitchell got traded to the Heat for P.J. Tucker, second-round pick in cash back to Toronto. The Spurs did also add Patrick Baldwin Jr., by the way. Still don't know it went back to Milwaukee. That might have just been a luxury tax dump for the Bucks. This was kind of a big one. I like this move for the Cavs, Siebes. DeAndre Hunter, you could count them as like a 4th winner. It's not a splashy, sexy move, but I like the self-awareness like, hey, yeah, we're first in the East, but we recognize the playoffs is a different deal. Let's get a long, lengthy wing that can also shoot the basketball.
Yeah, honestly, I think they've done a great job complimenting Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell. We've never seen the 2-guard kind of foundation of a team be successful in deep playoff runs, but if you are going to make it work, you want to have 2 really strong defensive wings who can both shoot from the outside, and Mobley is a point forward in some ways. Then you also have Jared Allen. I would say this, Cavs, they intrigue me a whole lot more of coming out of the Eastern Conference after this move, because I think it's a very well-run organization, and I always bank on those guys, but still question marks on Donovan Mitchell. Can he be that guy to get them over the hump in the postseason?
I think they got enough versatility now where they can switch on pick and rolls and pick and pops.
Right.
Like Hunter gives you that. Like, so that's pretty valuable. Weird trade here. Both Terrence Mann and Bogdan Bogdanovic are having down seasons, so this is the classic, let's just swap them and see if they can get going.
Yeah.
The Hawks are kind of like the Kings. I don't really know what they're going for at this point.
Chris Haynes saying on the Trae Young front in Atlanta, apparently the future is murky. So maybe a Trae Young trade this offseason.
Feels like an offseason move. Maybe like a guy like Zion gets moved as well. All right. There you have it.
Appreciate
some of the moves that went down today. We cycled through the other ones on screen as we were talking about winners and losers. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. We are almost at 400,000 subscribers. Would love to get there by the end of Super Bowl Sunday. All right. Any final thoughts?
Overall, really, really fun trade deadline. I'm very excited to watch the rest of the NBA season. It'll be a lot of fun. Like the Warriors, Mavericks, and Lakers for me, anytime they're on TV, I'm going to want to watch. Playoffs will be a lot of fun. So even though today was dead, still as a whole, I feel like the deadline was pretty awesome.
I mean, look, I'll be frank. Like for me, like it sucks.
Yeah.
But
for a Mavs fan,
I can be honest enough to sit here and say it was a great week for the league.
Yes,
I mean, Luka to LA when you're having a bad TV ratings year, it doesn't get much better from a league standpoint. So that's huge for Adam Silver and company.
Yep.
I'm fascinated to see how that looks. I've already made a declaration that I will not watch the Mavs in the playoffs if they make it, so I have to stick by my word. Technically, I've only said the finals, so I guess I could watch the first.
You watch up until the finals.
I watch them make the finals and cut my YouTube TV.
I can't see this.
But, I really don't know how it's going to work in Dallas. Like, I feel like it could either be amazing or it could just be a disaster. And if I bet on one or the other, I'd probably bet disaster. Because
I feel like the floor for the Mavs is higher than you would think, just because I feel like the pieces complement each other very well and still, like,
I'm curious
injury,
to see Kyrie now, like, back in a full-time point guard role. That's been a while.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that's just a riding a bike situation. Like, that's going to take some time.
Yeah.
Because remember 2 years ago when they brought in Kyrie, it did not work on the fly. The next season it worked great. They made the finals.
Yep.
But we'll see.
Maybe they try to get a secondary creator in the buyout market, but It'd be interesting to see how the Mavs play it.
Yeah, I wonder if if a Marcus Smart got bought out, if they would bring in someone like that. I don't know if they'd be in on Ben Simmons, but yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. To everybody who lit up the comment section, likes, subscribes to the shows, we appreciate it. We will see you guys soon here at Chat Sports. Our next big live event is Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah.
Chiefs, Eagles, 5:30 kickoff, probably be live by 5 at the latest. So that's Central Time, by the way. So 6:30 Eastern, 6 Central Time, probably be live for that. It'll be Jack Sperry and Jeff Cooperstein, so join us then. And we'll have plenty of videos between now and then here on Chat Sports. So that's going to do it for us. Harrison Gray, Patrick Siepman. Shout out to Jack Lauderay and our guy Joey Peterson behind the scenes building all of the trade graphics. We will see you guys soon on Chat Sports.
See ya.